From the mountains of central British Columbia to you listening around the world, this, my friends, is Spaced Out Radio. I am your host, Dave Scott, sitting in the captain's chair of SOR headquarters. We welcome you to tonight's show, including Kingdom of Nye Radio and Revolution Radio. If you want to take a listen to our archives, they are free at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Just do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. Our website has a brand new look. It's spacedoutradio.co. We are in the process of moving it over to the .com, but we still have a plethora of features for you. You can rock out to Bumblefoot, shop at the SOR Vault, sign up for the Space Travelers Club, read up on the Newswire, and so much more. Tonight's show is brought to you by the Mighty Moose Beard Oil Company. It's 100% Canadian, 100% natural, taking care of beards around the world. Visit MightyMooseBeard.com. Don't forget to use promo code SOR2019 today. Can science blend in with the psychic ability? Is there a link between the two? Author Rob Gutro, who's been here a couple of times before, has a new book out called Kindred Spirits. By trade, he is a meteorologist who just happens to be able to communicate with those who have passed. Along with souls who have walked this earth, Rob also has the ability to sketch out what a ghost or spirit looked like and the connection they had with many people, including dogs and cats. He writes to offer understanding and comfort to people who have lost their other friends, family, or their beloved pets. We're going to get more in with Rob here in a moment. Then at the bottom of hour number 3, I will bring you the SOR Newswire, brought to you by Paranoia Magazine. Mr. Rob Gutro, always a great time when you take the time to spend with us. Really appreciate you coming back on.
Well, thanks, Dave. Thanks for having me back on. It's good to be here.
I got to ask you this right off the bat, man, because I don't know why. We've talked numerous times, but I never knew that you were a scientist. You studied meteorology, which is great. So you're a weather manipulator, and going on from there, I just never knew that you had a scientific career along with being intuitive as well.
Yes, and so many of the books that I write are always using energy as a foundation of the paranormal, and that's it's come in handy because it really is all about energy, and whether it's earthbound ghosts or spirits that have crossed over, they really all use energy, like physical energies of heat, light, water, and electricity, or emotional energies. There's energy in emotion. I mean, sometimes you can be mad enough to, burn a light bulb out. But if you think about it, when we get emotional, we can be angry, depressed, anxious. Those are negative emotions, and that those produce negative emotional energy. And that's what earthbound ghosts use. But spirits, like those of our loved ones who have crossed over, use faith, hope, and love. Those are positive emotional energy. So it's all about energy.
Rob, when you started inquiring about your own intuition, how long did you know that you had a gift that maybe you didn't understand?
Gosh, well, I've known since I was 13. And I really didn't develop it until I was settled in my life. And I think that goes for most people, especially in terms of mediumship. You have to be comfortable and kind of in a peaceful place in order for it to start actually working, where you can actually hear what other people or pets are saying on the other side. So it took a long time. It takes a long time to learn how to do anything right. But in my case, it was like almost 3 decades.
You know what? For a lot of people, though, they don't open up. They don't open up for a long time. It's kind of weird that all of a sudden and this kind of happened to me as well. You just all of a sudden one day have an experience that opens up a whole new set of doors, man. And it's really a trip. I mean, you don't really know how to understand it.
So what was your experience, Dave, that changed everything for you? Because I think that's fascinating. Yeah.
Mine was on December 13th, 2011 at 7:45 p.m. when I saw the angel of death in my mother's eyes.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
So, how did that happen? How did that come about?
No idea. We were having many listeners will have heard this story before, but since you haven't and many others haven't, I'll kind of go into it. We were having an early Christmas for my daughter because she was going away with her mother's parents over the Christmas and New Year's holidays on a Caribbean cruise. And so I decided that I would bring over my family to my house. There's about 20, 22 people there. We did everything. We did a turkey dinner. She opened up all her Christmas presents. All her cousins and aunts and uncles were there. Her grandparents were there on my side. And I remember there was a hockey game on TV. The Vancouver Canucks were playing the Columbus Blue Jackets. And it was about 7:45. I was cleaning up my living room, which connected to my dining room, and then I had to walk through a doorway to where everybody was. It connected to my kitchen and then my rec area where the TV media room was. And everybody was in there kind of watching the game and opening presents and all this kind of stuff when my parents announced that they were getting ready to leave. And so I put the stuff down that was in my hands on the dining room table because my mom was standing on the other side of the doorway in the kitchen. And I took half a step into the kitchen with my arms open to give my mom a hug and realized that there was no sound coming around from the 20 other people in the room, and there was no sound from the television on the hockey game. So I made face-to-face contact with my mom, and my mother's beautiful blue eyes were jet black, and her pupils were now white. And I immediately got sick to my stomach and knew that I wanted to bawl my eyes out because I knew what I was looking at. Don't ask me how I knew. I just knew. And after that experience, about 2 hours later, everybody's gone and daughters are in bed. Mrs. SOR sits me down on the couch, says, "Why don't you just relax?" And she lights a candle on the table in between us. I was on the love seat. She was on the big couch. And she's just like, "Just relax." I wasn't into all this meditation crap and everything that goes along with it. And she goes, "Just relax and tell me what you saw." And the next thing I know, I ended up channeling the angel of death. And he told me how to keep my mother alive. And my mother, who wasn't very healthy, is still alive to this day.
Wow. That's pretty amazing.
Yeah. So that's what kicked it off for me. And then, me being a journalist, it really, really sparked a lot of questions. It really did. And with that, it put me on the path and eventually culminated with starting this radio show.
Well, everything leads to something in life. And that's great because what you've done is you've opened everybody else's minds all around the world by what you're doing. So that's fantastic.
I think it's fantastic too. I really do. And I think that it's something that more people should investigate in their personal lives, even though they may be a little bit fearful. They may be a little bit adverse to doing it for whatever belief they have. So my question to you in regards to that, when you decided to go down that rabbit hole and open up and find your own intuition 30 plus years into your life, what made you make that decision? Because that is a big decision to make.
It was actually not of my doing. What happened was there was a tragic accident with my dog Buzz. When I was walking him one day after work, his leash opened and he ran across the street and was killed by a car. And he became the world's best canine communicator from the afterlife, as I like to call him. And so he opened the doors for me, even though I was in intense grief and shock, actually, which are usually two things that block messages. He showed me different ways that pets can communicate from the other side. So, and movement of things. He did that through visible appearances. He did that through making noises. And just a whole array of things that were totally inexplicable, really. So the one thing that I really took away from all of this is that there's no such thing as a coincidence when it comes to spirit, because they find a way to make odd things happen to let us know that they are around. And Buzz was very famous for doing that. Not only for me, but also with other people that I know that he knew could convey the message. So that was another big lesson. And that's the if you lose somebody, whether it be person or pet, your grief is probably going to be blocking the signs from them. So they will try to come through to somebody you know that can give you the message. I've spoken to quite a number of people. In fact, one woman came to me and told me that she dreamt of her neighbor's father. And she wound up telling her neighbor that she had a dream of her neighbor's father. I guess she had seen, she was familiar with the man. And the neighbor said that her dad had passed 2 weeks ago. She never said anything. And she was so grief-stricken. But that was the sign. Her dad came to this neighbor in a dream and knew that this neighbor could convey that message to his daughter. And that's what she did. So she found comfort in that. So spirits will come through in any way, and they'll find a way to get that message to us.
It's kind of creepy going over to creep the neighbors to give you a message about, why not just do it direct? This isn't long distance anymore.
Yeah, it's a good thing they had a good relationship, but yeah, there are some neighbors, of course, you wouldn't even go over and, feel comfortable enough to do that with, but
no kidding.
Our relationship. So they knew who to come to.
I can see that. Rob Gutro is our guest tonight on Spaced Out Radio. He's got a brand new book on Amazon called Kindred Spirits. I highly suggest you check it on out. Rob, what's it like to communicate with the other side?
It's really inexplicable, but it's fascinating because in you don't know when somebody's going to speak up. And you don't know who it is. It's not like being in a crowd in the physical world where somebody will come up to you and say, "Hey, how are you doing, Rob? My name's Dan." It doesn't work that way. It's because you can't see them. You can't see them coming. It's just suddenly when you're at a moment of peace or when you're relaxed, you may hear something. So it's kind of jarring sometimes. It depends on where you are. I usually get messages when I'm either sitting at the computer or when I'm in the shower. And, so Dave, when you're taking a shower, have you ever heard what sounds like low voices or music and you can't figure out where it's coming from?
No, but I can tell you this. Here's something strange that happened. When I was getting ready for my grandfather's funeral back in 1995, normally when I do a lot of thinking, I'll go in the shower and I will turn that shower as hot as I can possibly take it to, so that way the water is nearly burning my skin. And all of a sudden the door was closed to the bathroom. The sliding glass windows were closed. I had the fan off, so everything's all foggy from the heat. Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden, this cold breeze came right through the shower glass, and a female voice says, "Don't worry, everything's going to be okay."
Wow!
And then a year later, in that same shower, and I've never actually shared this story on the air before. A year later, in the same shower, it was the day of my sister's wedding. And I was getting ready to, put the tuxedo on and stand up there for my sister, and because I was one of the groomsmen for her now ex-husband. And,
Okay.
And all of a sudden, same scenario. Cold breeze comes through the extremely hot shower and the glass windows of the shower and chills me up, and a female voice says, "Don't worry, everything's going to be okay."
Do you know who that was?
I have no idea. No idea. I will say this, though. It felt angelic.
Okay.
It did. It felt angelic. And I'm okay with that.
Well, it also very much could have been somebody in spirit that's related to you. Because often our relatives, even though we don't,
you tell me.
Well, even though we've never met some relatives that have passed, like those who have passed away before we've even been born, they can still come around and connect with us. There are some relatives that I've never met that have come around, and I'm like, well, who are you? So, but it is true. They will do that. But there is a scientific explanation, by the way, about that cold that you felt in the shower. Did you know that?
No, I want to hear it now.
Well, this is what happens when you talk to a meteorologist, right? You get some of the science. So here's what they do. We talked earlier about how it's all about energy, and ghosts and spirits of your loved ones who have crossed need that energy in order to get strong enough to communicate. So whoever that female spirit was needed some energy in order to speak to you in your head. So what she did is she took the movement of the molecules of air, because fast-moving molecules of air are warm air, and you have plenty of warm air in that shower. When you slow down the molecules of air and you take that energy away, it makes the air cooler, because slow-moving molecules of air are colder air. So that's why you get a cold spot whenever you're in the presence of a spirit or a ghost.
Interesting. I never knew that.
There's your science lesson of the day today.
Well, they could have waited until I wasn't butt naked in the shower. I mean, getting ready with at least some underwear on would have been more than sufficient.
Well, there's no such thing as they don't look at it any differently on the other side. They don't look at it with humility on the other. Get the message across. So they're not in the physical anymore. They're really just energy.
Wonderful. So I'm not even impressive on the spirit side. Never mind the human side. Gee whiz, you're killing me here right now. You're killing me. Obviously, very impressive, or they wouldn't have visited you where they did. Oh yeah, nice bail. Nice bail. I appreciate. I do appreciate that. Yeah. You may have. Rob, when you are talking to people, or you have spirits coming to you from the other side, how do you know when it's happening? How do you know when it's not imagination?
Well, that's a really good question, and my answer to that is if something comes into your head that you would never think of. If something comes into your mind that you're unfamiliar with, or suddenly you think of a name that you haven't thought of in a long, long time, then you know that it's not your own thought. It's someone else who is inserting that thought into your head so that they can make their presence known to you. So that happens to me all the time, of course, when I do paranormal investigating. I'm on a paranormal investigation team called Inspired Ghost Tracking of Maryland, USA. So we go into private residences and historic places and so forth and try and figure out what's going on. And one of the things as a medium that people who passed away use as a way to prove their identities is that for a medium, they make you feel the pain they experienced before they pass. Now, I would never want to feel that. So they have shared those things. And over time, I've been doing that 10 years, doing the investigations. I've been hit, punched, kicked, stabbed, shot. I felt cancer, heart attacks, aneurysms. I was in England and I was sliced by a sword. I wouldn't know physically what these things felt. Earthbound ghosts made me experience them. So that's one way that I know that, hey, this is not logical. There's no way this could happen. This feeling could happen to me if something else wasn't making it happen from the outside.
Do you get a feeling of when it's going to happen?
I do. I guess I can't. Earlier before we came on, I talked about how I love superheroes.
Yes.
So I think of it like I have a spidey sense where, Spider-Man gets the tingling to tell him that he's in danger. I always get a headache in the back of my head. It's on the back left side of my head, and it's always a dull headache. And whenever that happens, whenever that flares up, and it doesn't hurt, but in the presence of a ghost or a spirit who's crossed over, and it's never failed me.
What's the strangest place or time that you've ever had a spirit try and contact you and say, "Hey, dude, we need to talk now"?
Strangest place. Like you, I get a lot of messages in the shower. I always joke with everybody and say that, there's been more old ladies in my shower than any other shower on the planet. But they're all dead. I think maybe not the strangest place, but one of the most fascinating places was Hampton Court Palace in England. I went to England on vacation, 2 vacations, and wherever I went, there was some dead person that really wanted me to be aware of their existence. So it's not really an odd place, but it's when you're in kind of a ancient Tudor castle. That you would expect a ghost to be in those places.
No kidding. See, here I was hoping that maybe you were in the drive-through for McDonald's or walking, getting a haircut. But, we'll find out more. Author Bob Gutro is our guest tonight on Spaced Out Radio. His new book, Kindred Spirits, can be found on Amazon right now. Highly suggest you check it on out. We're going to get more into animal communication, human communication from the other side, and what it's like to be kindred.
From the heartlands of Canada to beards around the world, we know how to take care of you. Fill your follicles with the Mighty Moose Beard Oil. All our oils and balms are handmade and 100% natural ingredients because we care about your beard. And hey, use the promo code SOR2019 and get your Mighty Moose Beard Oil today. You can check us out on our website, mightymoosebeard.com.
Looking for a place to advertise at a very reasonable cost? Look no further than Spaced Out Radio. SpacedOutRadio.com has an advertising tab that you can click to check out our daily, weekly, and monthly packages to play on the radio, or our website including social media. From commercial spots to banners, we have it all. Check out our competitive pricing today.
Hello, this is your guitar man, Ron Bumblefoot Thal, and I have to tell you, I love the response I get for Little Brother is Watching from Spaced Out Radio fans. It's amazing how music can inspire and make people think deeper about what's going on in the supernatural world. You can head over to my website, bumblefoot.com, to check out my music, my guitar workshops, my touring, even check out some of the hot sauces that I'm working on. And make sure you keep on listening, because with Spaced Out Radio, you know Little Brother is watching.
Finish off your weekend and kick off your new week with me, Everett Thiemer, right here on Spaced Out Sundays. I'm going to bring you great guests, a little bit of snark, and plenty of information to think about. But don't worry, there's going to be plenty of woo as well. We are going to hit everything in the paranormal and supernatural, including the odd psychic Sundays. So tune us in on Sunday, 9:06 p.m. Pacific, 12:06 a.m. Eastern, right here at spacedoutradio.com.
Heading to Vancouver and looking for a night on the town? The Moose Vancouver is the bar that never stops rocking until 2 a.m. every night. The Moose has great food with everything on the menu from $6.95 to $8.95. Fantastic, vibrant staff and rock and roll that will bring you back to when the music was real, the hair was long, and the guitars were rocking. Get your party on at the Moose Vancouver, the official party bar of Spaced Out Radio.
Every night on Spaced Out Radio, we have places for you to hang out. Hi, this is Carl. Join our SOR Space Travelers group on Facebook for live chat. On Twitter, using hashtag Spaced Out Radio, you can also join us in our Spreaker chat room. Check us out on Instagram at Dave Scott SOR. All of our archives are free on YouTube at Spaced Out Radio. By the way, I'll be watching you at your window until you do. Bye!
We're adding to the entertainment online for Spaced Out Radio. I'm Amber Beckrud, and I want to invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel and check out Cryptid Tales, where I will take you on a journey into some of the strangest legends and lore from around the world, relaying the stories to you of the strange creatures and experiences that people have had throughout time. You can find Cryptid Tales at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. And while you're there, don't forget to check out our free archives and leave a comment. See you there.
Coming soon to our website, spacedoutradio.com, is the SOR Space Travelers Club. For just $5 a month, you can get into a private area on our site where you can hang with other listeners in our chat room, post in our forum, and check out a bunch of exclusive content and store that won't be found anywhere else, including a nightly after-show party with Dave. It's going to be the best $5 a month you're going to spend. The SOR Space Travelers, only at spacedoutradio.com.
Are you having encounters with the paranormal, supernatural, or ufological that you cannot explain? Look no further than the SOR Sightlines Report, brought to you by the Experiencers Support Association. This is Ryan Stacy, head of the Research Association, TESA. Soon on the Spaced Out Radio website, you'll be able to file your reports and have them researched for you. We are independent and ready to help Spaced Out Radio listeners today.
Looking for the stories of the strange and weird that you will find hard to find anywhere else? Check out the SOR Newswire on our website. Our writers, led by Captain Shirk, are scouring the world for the oddest and most bizarre stories we can find. Everything from weird crime to suspenseful and paranormal. We're working hard for you to bring you the most intriguing news of your day. Check out the SOR Newswire at spacedoutradio.com today.
Move over, brother, and let me own Saturday night.
This is Rich Giordano, and I'm inviting you to tune on in to Spaced Out Saturdays starting at 9 p.m. Pacific, 12 a.m. Eastern, where I'm going to bust open the lids on everything paranormal. Why? Because we want answers, and I'm the guy who's going to deliver those answers to you. Join the chat rooms, and we'll see you this Saturday. Just be there. No, really.
Hi there, this is Geraldine Orozco from San Francisco's Bay Area Meditation. I invite you to join me the first Tuesday of every month with Dave Scott for Spaced Out Radio's The Spiritual You. In this fast-paced world we live in, it's time for you to take some time for you. We'll cover every possible subject from powerful meditation to healing techniques to your own intuition and spirituality. So come join us for The Spiritual You.
Looking for something new to push your limits? Look Beyond the Spectrum, a new docuseries featuring some of the best researchers in the world when it comes to everything from UFOs, government cover-ups, and Bigfoot in the forest. Truth seekers like Steve Bassett, Dr. Jeff Meldrum, Richard Dolan, as well as others all chip in to bring their knowledge to you. Beyond the Spectrum can be found on Amazon as well as Tubi TV. Tell us what you think on our Amazon page. Welcome back to the second half hour of Spaced Out Radio tonight. I am your host, Dave Scott, sitting in the captain's chair of SOR headquarters. Great to have you along. We want to remind you that all of our archives are free at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Just do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you. You can sign up for the SOR Space Travelers Club, just $5 a month, but we got some cool features on there for you. We could do a little shopping at the SOR Vault. Great swag there. Fantastic swag. We Read the Night. That's our authors section. You can pick up one of their books right there. And, of course, we also have the SOR Newswire, which Captain Shirk updates daily. Tonight we are talking with author Rob Gutro, Kindred Spirits. What's it like to have a friendship with a spirit on the other side? Rob, thank you so much for joining us. Well, we love having you here as well. Now, during the break, you actually had the epiphany of what one of your strangest experiences was when you got contacted and some spirit wanted to talk. You have to tell this story.
Feeling fixed, and I zoned out. Normally you don't zone out when you're getting your teeth drilled, but suddenly this man and woman came to me, and it was husband and wife, and they were the parents of a gentleman that I have just been connected to in the Army. He's overseas in Afghanistan. And I'm going to send him a care package. Now, I don't know him. I really don't know him. All I knew was that the only thing I knew about him was, where he grew up and that his parents had passed away. I certainly didn't expect his parents to come through to me. When I was sitting in the dentist chair, his mom told me that he was going to be in a firefight. And I thought, okay. And his dad said that he was going to be there. He was there, and he was going to put his hand on his left shoulder, on some kind of strap on his left shoulder, and he was going to keep him safe, like push him out of harm's way. And his dad showed me a rectangular object that was bright. It was a kind of whitish rectangular object, and he said, "This is important." And you'll learn why. But he said his mother and I kept him safe. So they also told me that he has his dad's eyes and his mother's hair. Now, I don't know this guy. So I sent him a note, and for 5 days I didn't hear back from him. And I thought, oh my gosh. Hope he's okay, after getting that message from his mom and his dad. Well, finally, I got a message back from him, and I didn't tell him any of this. And he said, I saw your messages. I'm sorry I didn't get back to you. I was on patrol, and we were ambushed by rebels, and we were in a firefight. And he said, but I'm okay. He said the only thing was, my cell phone fell out of my jacket, and my buddies stepped on it and cracked the phone. So when it lit up, so that was the bright object that was, rectangular. So he was in a firefight, like his mother said, and he was not hurt. So his dad was protecting him, and there was the object. Amazing to me that these things would come through. And of course, I wrote him, and I think he was too stunned to respond. So, here's a stranger basically telling you that your parents, in spirit, were protecting you on the battlefield. Yeah, all from a dentist chair.
That is kind of trippy. Now, when you are communicating with spirit, do the majority of them know where they are, or are some still trying to figure it out?
I think the majority of them do know where they are, especially spirit. Spirit are the ones that have crossed over. So they have a total awareness once they're on the other side. It's the ghosts, it's the earthbound ghosts that are sometimes confused. And people say earthbound is a ghost for a couple of different reasons. At least reasons that I've come to find out. One is maybe they like the place they grew up and they don't want to leave it. And they're just holding on to the physical. Another reason maybe is that they think they can help their family overcome their grief, which they can't unless they cross over. And a third one is that, when we die, we get a kind of a review of our life. And if we did anything bad, we remember that. We see it. Whether you're generally a good person and you do, a couple of bad things in your life, or you make people hurt, you hurt people, whatever, you remember those things before, right after you pass over. What I've come to find out, interestingly enough, is that people who tend to be very deep into or devoted to their religion tend to be the people that stay behind the most, because they get this awakening that they remember any of the bad things they did in life, and they fear what's going to happen on the other side, so they stay behind. And what really, honestly, what's waiting on the other side is nothing but peace and energy. Ghosts over with our group, the Inspired Ghost Tracking, but it's just amazing to me. So when everybody listening passes, even if you've done bad things, don't stay behind. Cross over into the light. I think that, honestly, being an earthbound ghost is really experiencing hell for eternity. And Dave, here's why. They can't communicate with spirits on the other side. They can't communicate with spirits of their loved ones. And they can barely communicate with people here on Earth, living. Only if they're lucky enough that a medium walks into the place they chose to dwell, they can communicate. And usually, as a paranormal investigator, the main thing we hear on digital recorders is "help me." And, they want help crossing over. Think about that. Spending eternity in one place, being unable to communicate with anybody. That's hell.
But it all depends who is helping them cross over as well. Like, for instance, Rob, I do a ghost tour at our local museum here. And part of what we do is we very much cater to all the spirits there, okay? We know who they are. We get a lot of walkthroughs and everything like that. But the main spirits, we know who they are. And we try and treat them like gold. Like, there's no provoking, there's no anything. Right. We realize that this is their home, and we try and make it as comfortable as it is. And we had this one spirit named Mary. And Mary was probably my most active spirit for the first 2 years on the tour. And one day we had this lady come in who is, I'm gonna say, comes from the dark side of mediumship. And she literally crossed Mary over.
Okay.
And there's another spirit, Mary's boyfriend, on the other side, that was very much angry by this. I had to shut down the building because he started shoving one of my guides.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, like he was very angry. And we cleared the building, and then we had to go. And I contacted a good friend of mine, Angel K., who has been a guest on this show. But before that, I asked her, I said, why did you cross her over? And she goes, she wanted to go. I said, no, she didn't. I said, she has had plenty of opportunities to go, but she crosses over for you. She goes, yeah, she wanted to get out of here, so I crossed her over. I said, you didn't have permission to do that. Right? And we actually got into it there. And that lady has since been banned from our tour and from the museum because of this. I know that sounds weird, especially for the skeptical people out there, but it really did cause a lot of danger. When my friend Angel K checked into this that night, because we had to shut down the building for the night because the one spirit Willie was going crazy, Angel went in and found Mary not on the other side through the light, but almost like in a purgatory type area, and was able to bring her back. But the funny part about it is, this is going on well over a year now, and Mary's communication has never been the same. She has gone from the most active spirit to, we might get her once a night if we're lucky during the tour. It's almost like her trust and faith was broken, and she doesn't know how to give it back.
I could see that. Wow. So I wonder where she went. I wonder if she really,
you tell me.
Because, well, when you cross them over, they can't come back and be earthbound, at least in my experience. So she must have sent Mary to a different place.
Well, what Angel was picking up was that it was very dark. It wasn't a very pleasant place.
Okay. That would definitely not be the other side. Interesting. So she may have opened a portal to some other area.
Yeah. To her, she said she sent her to the light. But, my friend, I have had numerous mediums and psychics in there that I have trusted personally. And this young spirit never wanted to leave, ever. She loved it there. We built that entire area, her room, for her. She wanted pictures on the walls. We put pictures. She wanted a bed. We put a bed in there. She wanted pillows. She wanted flowers. The museum curators did all of that for her to take care of her. Like, this was a place she did not want to leave.
No wonder she didn't want to leave. She was appreciated.
Yeah, absolutely. And for this bastard of a woman, if I can be so polite, to do that, it really, really shook us up. And to this day, we cannot figure out how to get her going again, because I have a feeling it's personal against me, because it happened when I was running the tour. And like, Mary used to be the type of spirit where when we had guests around on the tour, we would put 2 K2 meters on the ground. There's no electricity in this building. We put 2 K2 meters on the ground, and we'd say, okay, Mary, choose a meter of where you want to stand. And she would go in the middle and light them both up to red. And she would allow each individual person to come in and actually touch and feel what she feels like. I mean, that's how active she was. And now we can't even get a blip. I shouldn't say that. We get maybe a blip or two, and that's it for her for the night. Just like, I'm here.
Well, I always say that we maintain our memories, personality, and our knowledge when we cross over, whether you're an earthbound ghost like Mary or a spirit on the other side. So, Mary is behaving as she would in life. Once, if she gets burned by somebody, she doesn't trust them anymore. And I think that's what happened. So maybe perhaps over time you'll regain her trust as she realizes that it was a fluke and that you are not responsible for that other person. So I hope so. It's about building trust back up, I think. So one thing that did occur to me, though, is about where she may have gone. And sometimes when I've done investigations, we've gone into homes where people have used Ouija boards. Now,
Yes.
I always discourage Ouija boards because it can open a doorway to places you don't want to open a doorway to, and invite dark things in. So perhaps the person that was there had the ability to open a doorway to a dark place like that a Ouija board could open up. And that's where Mary went temporarily until she could be pulled back.
No idea.
Yeah.
No idea.
We won't know.
It's one thing that we do have to work with and we do have to solve because, our tour that we do is becoming very, very popular. Mm-hmm. And it is becoming quite part of one of the things that you do in our area. And it's kind of funny because ever since that happened, ever since we had that incident, Rob, when we start the tour, like tomorrow night, we only got 3 tours left. Tomorrow night is one of them. And when we have all the people there, we usually have 20, 25 people who will take the tour on the Saturday night. And I'll start off and I'll ask, okay, who's the psychics or the mediums here? And, you'll get 1 or 2 people in each group raise their hands. And I warned them, and I said, if you've caught crossing over spirits, you're going to be banned from this tour for life. And I said, and I look at them dead in the eyes and I say, I will know.
Yep, you certainly will.
Just the way it is. Just the way it is. So we only got about 5 minutes left with you in hour number 1 here. We were talking to author Rob Gutro tonight on Spaced Out Radio. Communication with the other side is where we're going with this. It has to be hard, Rob, when you get communication from children.
It is. It's actually difficult for me to get communications from children because of the deep physical and emotional loss that people suffer when they lose a child. And I've also become known kind of as a pet medium too, and I feel that same pain, that same feeling when pets come through to me. It's extremely emotional, and I can, if I'm in a physical place in front of somebody and getting a message, it will actually bring tears to my eyes. I do remember one instance where an infant who was not even told me how they passed away, and it was in a medium event with Barb Mallon, who was a medium in Virginia, and this young infant came through and told me how they passed and what happened, and that they're still very much around their parents. And the baby, I can't remember what the exact signs were, but the baby gave me various things that were in the environment around the time they passed. And when I said something at the very end of the session, there were the mother and the grandmother of the baby came forward, and they knew it was their baby, and everybody was just in tears. It was very emotional.
See, I don't know if I could handle children. The first ghost I ever saw was a child, and it scared me because that ghost looked eerily similar to my daughter, and my daughter happened to be sleeping on my arm.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah. And it was a trip, man. It was an absolute trip. And so seeing the idea of having to deal with children on the other side. Yes, death is horrible. Death happens at any time to anybody. It really does, rank high on the horrific meter, especially when it is a child. But seeing a child's spirit, that, and even communicating with it, I don't know how I would react if all of a sudden I had a child spirit come up to me and say, I want my mommy, or I want my daddy. I don't know how I would react to that.
Well, something that's interesting about children that do come through is that often they come through as older spirits that, because we all come back. We can talk about reincarnation in the next hour, but we all come back. And usually whenever a young spirit comes through to me, they'll come back as a full-grown adult. I think probably they do that so that I am not, as emotionally affected by seeing the image of a young child on the other side. But contrary to that, it's like the spirits of our loved ones. When they appear to us, either in a dream or some other way, they usually appear younger. If they die of old age or at an older age. My dad always appears to me like he's in his mid-30s. My dad passed at 79. I always see my dad in a dream. My dad in his mid-30s because I was a kid. But spirits of children will also show themselves as adults. And that can be in dreams or to a medium. And it's to lessen the effects of the trauma.
Interesting. I was able to see my grandmother for the first time on the other side. And she passed away in 1988. And I don't recall seeing wrinkles on her face. And I saw her the day I found out my nephew had passed away at 29 years old.
Oh my gosh, so she came to tell you that.
Well, I saw her and my two grandfathers, who were both passed.
Mm-hmm.
And it's weird that you just said that about your dad being at 30 years old, because when I saw my grandmother, I knew that was her. I hadn't seen her. Like, I've seen a lot of spirits, but I've even seen both my grandfathers, but I never saw her until my nephew was there.
Yeah. Wow. So she was letting you know. But yeah, they do appear younger. Even my grandmother has also appeared to me, my dad's mother, and she appeared younger than I remember her. By the way, on the other side of the break, I wanted to tell you about, we talked about pets too, but I wanted to talk to you about a friend of mine who just passed away, and the incredible message that she gave me, the visual message that was a comfort to friends of hers.
Well, we can do that. We can totally do that. My friend, you hold on. Author Rob Gutro is our guest tonight on Spaced Out Radio. We are talking about communication with the other side. We'll get into reincarnation, communication with animals, and what it's like to be friends with the spirits. Kindred Spirits is his latest book. You can find it on Amazon. Hour 2 of Spaced Out Radio coming up after this.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7, with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
Are you having encounters with the paranormal, supernatural, or ufological that you cannot explain? Look no further than the SOR Sightlines Report, brought to you by the Experiencers Support Association. This is Ryan Stacy, head of the Research Association, TESA. Soon on the Spaced Out Radio website, you'll be able to file your reports and have them researched for you. We are independent and ready to help Spaced Out Radio listeners today.
You hear footsteps in the empty room above you. A rocking chair begins rocking by itself. Don't be afraid of the things that go bump in the night. Reach for Spirit Storybox, the iPhone app the Huffington Post UK called the only ghost hunting app you will ever need. Spirit Storybox. The spirits are telling their stories. Are you listening?
Move over, brother, and let me own Saturday night.
This is Rich Giordano, and I'm inviting you to tune on in to Spaced Out Saturdays starting at 9 p.m. Pacific, 12 a.m. Eastern, where I'm going to bust open the lids on everything paranormal. Why? Because we want answers, and I'm the guy who's going to deliver those answers to you. Join the chat rooms, and we'll see you this Saturday. Just be there. No, really.
Come hang out with Spaced Out Radio, where we own the night. This is Carl. You can follow Dave on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio, and during the show, use the hashtag Spaced Out Radio to chat with us live. On Instagram, at Dave Scott SOR. On Facebook, give our page a like, Spaced Out Radio Show. SOR archives are free on YouTube at Spaced Out Radio. Come join us, or I will come join you. See you at your window.
A little bit of science, a little bit of skepticism. Add a dash of snark and you have the makings of Spaced Out Sundays with me, Everett Thiemer. Together we will look into the reality of the paranormal with an open eye and rational thought. Oh, did I mention there'll be plenty of woo as well? Your time spent with Spaced Out Sundays will make the night even better. The chat rooms are open, 9:06 p.m. Pacific, 12:06 a.m. Eastern, right here at spacedoutradio.com.
We all know on Spaced Out Radio we love a good beard and mustache, so why not take care of your facial hair with Mighty Moose Beard Oil? Made in Canada, we're taking care of beards and stashes around the world. We use 100% natural ingredients with our oils and balms to make your whiskers feel silky smooth. Use promo code SOR2019 at MightyMooseBeard.com today.
We're bringing you something new to the documentary world. Beyond the Spectrum will take you on an historic tour of topics like no other. Sasquatch, UFOs, government secrecy, and more. Keeping you on the edge of your seats through the eyes of legendary truth seekers like Steve Bassett, Richard Dolan, Dr. Jeff Meldrum, and Jack Kasher. Head on over to Amazon Prime or Tubi TV and check us out. Please leave a comment for the filmmakers on their film's Amazon page.
Hi, this is Amber Beckrud, and I want to invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel where we store all of the SOR show archives for free. And as an added bonus, every 2 weeks I'm posting brand new content on Cryptid Tales, where I will get into some of the spookier legends and folklore from around the world and tell the stories that go with them. Find us at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio and check out Cryptid Tales today. Drop a comment and let me know what you want to hear. See you there.
Visit purpleplates.com today. For over 40 years, the Purple Energy Plates have been delivering amazing results for their many customers. Inspired by the great genius Nikola Tesla, the harmony, healing, and energetic effects of the plates have proven over and over to be beneficial and often miraculous to thousands of customers. Check their site for daily specials and choose from their many energy products. You won't be sorry. Visit them today at purpleplates.com.
Looking for the stories of the strange and weird that you will find hard to find anywhere else? Check out the SOR Newswire on our website. Our writers, led by Captain Shirk, are scouring the world for the oddest and most bizarre stories we can find. Everything from weird crime to suspenseful and paranormal. We're working hard for you to bring you the most intriguing news of your day. Check out the SOR Newswire at spacedoutradio.com today.
Get your horns up with me on Spaced Out Radio. This is Ron Bumblefoot Thal. Come tune in to SOR where you can hear me rock out with Little Brother is Watching, the official theme song of Spaced Out Radio. And then come on over to bumblefoot.com where you can find out about my tour schedule, my music, and everything else. Bumblefoot.com keeps you up to date on what I'm doing and the best way to stay in touch with my music and music camps. Sign up for my newsletter at bumblefoot.com and remember, Little Brother is watching.
The Call of the Wild is in Vancouver. The Moose Vancouver is one of the hottest bars and restaurants in the city. Open until 2 a.m. nightly, the Moose will rock you like a hurricane all night long. Great food with everything on the menu at $6.95 near the corner of Nelson and Granville. Get your horns up and come rock with us. The Moose Vancouver, the official rocking bar of Spaced Out Radio.
Looking for a place to advertise at a very reasonable cost? Look no further than Spaced Out Radio. SpacedOutRadio.com has an advertising tab that you can click to check out our daily, weekly, and monthly packages to play on the radio, or our website including social media. From commercial spots to banners, we have it all. Check out our competitive pricing today.
We are getting ready to relaunch the SOR Space Travelers Club at spacedoutradio.com. For $5 a month, you can join us for a plethora of features found nowhere else. Hang out in a private chat room during the show and after party. You can check out some exclusive content and a store specifically for you, as well as a private listener forum where you can post your thoughts, stories, and pictures. The SOR Space Travelers Club, coming soon to spacedoutradio.com.
You're listening to Spaced Out Radio with Dave Scott. Follow Dave on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio and on Facebook, Spaced Out Radio Show.
Hour number 2 of Spaced Out Radio is underway tonight. I am your host, Dave Scott. Thank you so much for being with us. We want to say hello to everyone listening in on WQEE 99.1 FM in Noonan, Georgia, KDUN AM 1030 in Reedsport, Oregon, UPRN 107.7 FM in New Orleans, KZFX 93.7 FM in Ridgecrest, California, and down in Dangerfield, Texas, KDNF AM 1560. On the digital side, hi to everyone listening in on Kingdom of Nye Radio and Revolution Radio. Don't forget you can check out all of our archives at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Just do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club. Mega Chiropteran. Mega Chiropteran is your password. Nobody knows what it means, but that's their password for tonight. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you. You can rock out to Bumblefoot. Do a little shopping at our SOR Vault store. You can also sign up for the SOR Space Travelers Club. It's $5 a month. We suggest you do that. We got some cool features set up for you. And if you want to get a good book, we have Amazon set up for We Read the Night. Yeah, we want you to support our authors. We're going to get Rob in there, too, I think. I hope. Got to talk to him about that yet. Author Rob Gutro is our guest tonight on Spaced Out Radio. Kindred Spirits is his brand new book, can be found on Amazon. What it's like to be friends with spirits on the other side. Yeah, that's kind of freaky. Rob, how you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm still awake.
Me too.
Yeah, how about
but
that?
It's 3 hours difference. It's 3 hours difference, my friend.
It is. I'm 3 hours later than you are.
Well, you're doing fantastic. Now, I want to start off because we always like to include the audience here. And sure. I got a question coming from Facebook here. I just got to load it up here. This person wants to remain anonymous. That I do know. And the question is, since Mr. Gutro works with the Maryland Paranormal Group, allow me to pose this question about ghosts in Maryland. It says, I was driving across the Potomac River, leaving Virginia and entering Maryland, when I sensed a crowd of Civil War soldiers who were dead, but still there at that location. Maryland and Pennsylvania highways have signs saying hallowed ground, referring to the Civil War and Gettysburg. These road signs are spaced every few miles on the main highways that were formerly Civil War battlegrounds. Does Mr. Gutro, that would be you, think the hallowed ground signs work or heal the dead soldiers?
I honestly don't think they even pay attention to the signs, to be honest with you. I think that what we encounter in those areas often are residual images. There are intelligent haunts, which means they're interactive. But I've been to Gettysburg quite a bit because it's not too far. It's about an hour and a half from where I am. And there are both residual and intelligent haunts. So I have, a lot of people have seen lines of soldiers coming, as Anonymous described, and then they fade away. So I think it's both residual and intelligent haunts in all of these places, because there's so much emotion and trauma that happen in these places. But I don't think they pay attention to the signs that we put up nowadays. They're more interested in interacting with the living people than recognizing things that are now in their environment. Just my thought.
Why would a soldier want to stay on the battlefield like Gettysburg?
I don't think they want to. I think that sometimes when people die in tragic circumstances or sudden circumstances, their energy gets jarred out of their physical body. And sometimes there's a confusion as to what happened. Some people don't know that they're dead. They don't know that they were suddenly shot and suddenly died. And they kind of wake up in the battlefield, for instance, and they're confused and they can't believe that they actually died. So they stand there and they try to understand what happened. And then for some reason and for some length of time that is unknown to anybody really, people get stuck and they can't cross over and they become earthbound ghosts. So I think confusion from sudden death has a lot to do with battlefield entities.
I always wonder if in a different timeline that battle is still going on, and that's what we're seeing.
I'm uncertain of that. I know that there are. Well, we can certainly talk about multiple Earths and timelines and all that stuff that intersects. Earths that vibrate at a different frequency, and but we don't know. You know, we'll certainly know once we get on the other side, though. That's all I can say.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. I can definitely see that. But I just, I mentioned this on the show the other night when we were talking to author C.R. Barry about time travel. We had an experience here where last year we were doing a ghost tour, and we came across this Chinese couple. And they were communicating, and they were going down the path towards, heading north towards the Klondike, going to the gold rush. There was a lot of Chinese immigrants here back in the 1850s who were taking part in the gold rush, and they were staying in a Chinese community that was built in Barkerville, British Columbia. And as we were communicating with them, we said, okay, thank you for your time. But everybody's gear was still going off, that they were still there. And then we realized that we had to clear the path because they had a horse and buggy behind them, and they couldn't move because we were all still on the path. And from that time on, it's really changed my direction in wondering whether or not we're actually dealing with ghosts or we're dealing with somebody on a different timeline as to whether or not they're continuing on their journey.
Well, I guess it could be either. I don't have the answer to that, but I do know though if a ghost sees a living person, they will behave in the same physical manner that they would if they were alive. So that may explain, why they would stop and wait for you to move, because they can see you. They can see you as an obstruction. So.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. It could be that, or it could be something else.
It could, but time is really irrelevant on the other side. Time is only relevant to the place, to the location in which you are, and I try to present that to people by looking at other planets in our solar system. So, for instance, if you think about how long it takes for us to go around the sun. It takes 365 days. That's 1 year for us of life. But if you look at a planet like Jupiter, it takes 4,300 days. in Earth years, that's 11.7 Earth years to have 1 year on Jupiter. So time is all relevant to where you are.
Interesting,
isn't it? Yeah.
Very interesting. Question coming from Christoph here. And he is asking, I'm wondering, a spirit that was crossed over against their will, like was mentioned earlier, can a medium contact them still?
Sure. Yeah, I think they can. A medium can contact them wherever they are, and as long as they want to be contacted. So obviously, Mary was in a kind of a dark place that she was, and she didn't want to be there. So she immediately was able to contact the next medium and help her get out of there. So
you had a story you wanted to share about communication with someone on the other side.
I did, and coincidentally, her name is also Mary. So that's
very nice.
That's like a DJ segue, the perfect DJ segue, Dave. This is actually a very personal story to me because this is a friend of mine who passed away back on September 25th. Her name is Mary Lenzen, and I have rarely met someone as kind-hearted and just giving and loving as she is. And she managed the Lakes Region Humane Society in Ossipee, New Hampshire, and that's how I met her. She actually found out that I like to. One of the things I like to do, based on my Two Pets in the Afterlife books, is give lectures about how pets communicate from the other side, as a way to teach people, what to look for. And she found out that I do these lectures, and I've been doing them for rescues, and I don't charge rescues anything at all, but rescues can charge, $10 or $20, and all that money goes to the rescue. I don't ask for anything. I just asked to sell my books there. So she found out about that, and she called me, and she asked me if I would come up there, and so I did. It turned out that I was able to do a couple of sessions. They're anybody that suffers from grief of pet loss responded, and I was able to raise over $1,000 in one day, just a couple hours,
good.
Actually.
Very good.
For the rescue. So, long story short, Mary battled cancer several times in her life, and this past year, she found out that she had brain cancer, and it was very fast. So I was able to text her a couple of times. She's in New Hampshire. I'm in Maryland. That's like 500 miles away. I was able to text her and even speak to her on the phone a couple of times before she passed. And she had so many pets on the other side. She managed a rescue. She loved animals more than anything. And she did so many things. So when she passed, she came through to me as I expected she would. I didn't know what day she passed, but she showed me that she was safe and happy on the other side in light. And the image that she gave me was that she was surrounded by so many dogs and so many cats in spirit that she actually was jumping up and down and waving like crazy so that I could see her. She was as short as I am. So she was conveying the message that she is fine on the other side, and she's happy because she's surrounded by so many of the loving dogs and cats that she knew and even helped in her life. So I shared that story. I shared that a good friend of hers who brought with her to the services to share that with others. But that was such a powerful and positive thing from Mary, my friend Mary in spirit. And I actually posted a blog about her today in memory of her with that story because today would have been her birthday. Oh. So thank you for letting me talk about her tonight. Because
not a problem.
It's very
That's a beautiful story.
It's very emotional for me. I miss her. You know, I miss her in the physical so much. Granted, I've already spoken to her in spirit, but you know, it is different.
It's very different. It is extremely different. I know, you know, not to turn this into a sad show, but I know last year when my 29-year-old nephew passed away, we had an enormous amount of paranormal activity from him right off the bat.
Oh my gosh.
Within the first few days. And it was including probably one of the most profound experiences I ever had, where he passed away was in a park in Vancouver. He had a fentanyl overdose. And he was in rehab, and just the devil called him. And anyways, he fell asleep on a park bench on a picnic table in this park in Vancouver. I had no idea where the park was, and what happened there was we pulled out of the recovery house with all his stuff. We loaded it up into my truck, and my sister, his aunt, and his mother, my other sister, were with me. And I had no idea where I was going. I was the one driving, and I just kind of said, "Come on, kid, tell me where to go. I want to know where it happened." And all of a sudden I hear his voice in my head say, "Turn right here." And I turn right, and of course there's a hockey arena right there. And I'm like, "Oh yeah, I've been to this hockey arena." And we start going past the park. And I said, "Well, this is the park," because there was a sign there that matched up. And I see this groundskeeper driving in a utility vehicle on the grass. So I quickly hopped out of my truck, and I run up to this lady, complete stranger, and I said, "There was a body found here just a couple of days ago. That was my nephew. Do you happen to know where he was found?" And she takes a deep breath, and she goes, "Oh my God." She goes, "I was hoping you would come. I was one of the ones who found him."
Oh my gosh! So he led you to her,
and he led us to her, and she took us to the exact spot where he passed away.
Wow!
It was extremely profound.
It is amazing. Profound. Yeah, it's amazing what spirit can do. They're amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny because I tell that story now, and I am just goosebumping all over the place, like he's kind of right there with me, kind of going, "Told you, Uncle." You know, it's just kind of weird when that happens. I love when stuff like that happens, even if it is that profound.
Well, you know, that story is really interesting because my book Kindred Spirits is actually about a spirit who was thought to have committed suicide, and he helped me prove that he did not intentionally take his own life. So that's one of the stories in the book. There are many, many stories about the ways that he's communicated with me. But he helped me solve the mystery of his own death after 15 years. So
Interesting. Well, take us through it. What is that about, Kindred Spirit?
Okay.
Tell us about the spirit.
Well, Kindred Spirits is really it's about a spirit that I never knew in life. The man's name is Ed, and when I met my husband, he came along. So Ed came along with my husband, and Ed was my husband Tom's late partner. So Ed passed away in 1996. Now, I never knew Ed in life. I never met him. I didn't know anything about him. So what was interesting is that when Tom and I met, I sensed Ed was around. Ed, over the last 14 years, has come to me. So many times that he's done some amazing things. So, as I mentioned, he's helped solve the mystery of his passing. He took me on what I call a spirit treasure hunt, and that's kind of crazy because we decided after 5 years getting messages from Ed that we were going down to Central Virginia, which is about 4 hours from where I live, and meet Ed's dad for the first time for me. I don't know the family. I don't know any of them. But I wanted to convey some of these messages that Ed has been giving me to let his dad know that Ed is still very much around. So before we went down there, the 2 weeks before, Ed was giving me all these weird things. I would be shaving one morning and he would, like, for instance, one day he said to me, Jingle, ask them about Jingle, because that's really special. And I'm like, what? It's like March, or I don't remember what month it was. It was far away from Christmas. That's what I associate Jingle with Christmas. And I'm like, okay, I don't know what that means. And he said, you'll find out. So I wrote it down. He told me another weird thing. He said there's a boat. He showed me a boat, and he said it's a rowboat, but it's a kayak. And I'm like, Ed, I don't understand what you're talking about. And he said, you'll know. It's a rowboat, but it's a kayak. So I said, okay. So I wrote it down. So I wrote down all of these disconnected signs and symbols and pictures. And in the book, you'll realize, what they all are and how I was able to prove every single one of them. And what they told me, as it turned out, was that he was with every one of his family members in the 2 weeks before I came down to visit them. So that was pretty amazing. And I can explain one or two of them and then, tell you some of the other things about the book. I can tell you about the Jingle one or the rowboat kayak one.
Well, we got we got about a minute here before we have to go to break. Mm-hmm. I think when we come back, you should share both, if you're cool with that.
No, I will. Yeah, there's so many things in here. It's really amazing.
You know what? I'm surprised that your husband's ex is talking to you. I would never talk to my ex's husband.
Oh, for me it's good because I get all the inside information. My husband doesn't communicate very well, so wow. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Well, you know what? to each their own, because I know my ex-wife, she sure didn't pick a winner. I broke her. I'm not going to lie. I broke her. But hey, it happens. It happens. Nonetheless, we're going to have some fun with Mr. Rob Gutro here in the next half hour. You can learn more about his book, Kindred Spirits, which can be found on Amazon. Highly suggest you pick it up. He's a very talented writer of the paranormal and the strange and the weird. More Spaced Out Radio with author Rob Gutro coming up after this.
Hello, this is your guitar man, Ron Bumblefoot Thal, and I have to tell you, I love the response I get for Little Brother is Watching from Spaced Out Radio fans. It's amazing how music can inspire and make people think deeper about what's going on in the supernatural world. You can head over to my website, bumblefoot.com, to check out my music, my guitar workshops, my touring, even check out some of the hot sauces that I'm working on. And make sure you keep on listening, because with Spaced Out Radio, you know Little Brother is watching.
We're bringing you something new to the documentary world. Beyond the Spectrum will take you on an historic tour of topics like no other. Sasquatch, UFOs, government secrecy, and more, keeping you on the edge of your seats through the eyes of legendary truth seekers like Steve Bassett, Richard Dolan, Dr. Jeff Meldrum, and Jack Kasher. Head on over to Amazon Prime or Tubi TV and check us out. Please leave a comment for the filmmakers on their film's Amazon page. Heading to Vancouver and looking for a night on the town? The Moose Vancouver is the bar that never stops rocking until 2 a.m. every night. The Moose has great food with everything on the menu from $6.95 to $8.95. Fantastic, vibrant staff and rock and roll that will bring you back to when the music was real, the hair was long, and the guitars were rocking. Get your party on at the Moose, Vancouver, the official party bar of Spaced Out Radio.
From the heartlands of Canada to beards around the world, we know how to take care of you. Fill your follicles with the Mighty Moose Beard Oil. All our oils and balms are handmade and 100% natural ingredients because we care about your beard. And hey, use the promo code SOR2019 and get your Mighty Moose Beard Oil today. You can check us out on our website, mightymoosebeard.com.
Coming soon to our website, spacedoutradio.com, is the SOR Space Travelers Club. For just $5 a month, you can get into a private area on our site where you can hang with other listeners in our chat room, post in our forum, and check out a bunch of exclusive content and store that won't be found anywhere else, including a nightly after-show party with Dave. It's going to be the best $5 a month you're going to spend. The SOR Space Travelers, only at spacedoutradio.com.
We're bringing scientific thought to the paranormal. Hi there, this is Spaced Out Radio scientist Chris Cogswell. Join me, Chris Zuger, and Dave Scott the second Wednesday of every month, where we break down the who from the woo when it comes to everything paranormal. We'll investigate and try to bring sensible answers to those straight and sometimes outlandish questions people have. Hey, not everything is an answer, but we'll do our best. Listen in to Reality Paranormal only on Spaced Out Radio.
Looking for a place to advertise at a very reasonable cost? Look no further than Spaced Out Radio. SpacedOutRadio.com has an advertising tab that you can click to check out our daily, weekly, and monthly packages to play on the radio, or our website including social media. From commercial spots to banners, we have it all. Check out our competitive pricing today.
We're adding to the entertainment online for Spaced Out Radio. I'm Amber Beckrud, and I want to invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel and check out Cryptid Tales, where I will take you on a journey into some of the strangest legends and lore from around the world, relaying the stories to you of the strange creatures and experiences that people have had throughout time. You can find Cryptid Tales at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. And while you're there, don't forget to check out our free archives and leave a comment. See you there.
Looking for the stories of the strange and weird that you will find hard to find anywhere else? Check out the SOR Newswire on our website. Our writers, led by Captain Shirk, are scouring the world for the oddest and most bizarre stories we can find. Everything from weird crime to suspenseful and paranormal. We're working hard for you to bring you the most intriguing news of your day. Check out the SOR Newswire at spacedoutradio.com today.
Every night on Spaced Out Radio, we have places for you to hang out. Hi, this is Carl. Join our SOR Space Travelers group on Facebook for live chat. On Twitter, using hashtag Spaced Out Radio, you can also join us in our Spreaker chat room. Check us out on Instagram at Dave Scott SOR. All of our archives are free on YouTube at Spaced Out Radio. By the way, I'll be watching you at your window until you do. Bye!
Move over, brother, and let me own Saturday night.
This is Rich Giordano, and I'm inviting you to tune on in to Spaced Out Saturdays starting at 9 p.m. Pacific, 12 a.m. Eastern, where I'm going to bust open the lids on everything paranormal. Why? Because we want answers, and I'm the guy who's going to deliver those answers to you. Join the chat rooms, and we'll see you this Saturday. Just be there. No, really.
Finish off your weekend and kick off your new week with me, Everett Thiemer, right here on Spaced Out Sundays. I'm going to bring you great guests, a little bit of snark, and plenty of information to think about. But don't worry, there's going to be plenty of woo as well. We are going to hit everything in the paranormal and supernatural, including the odd psychic Sundays. So tune us in on Sunday, 9:06 p.m. Pacific, 12:06 a.m. Eastern, right here at spacedoutradio.com.
Hey, this is Canadian Paranormal Investigator Mike Moore. The third Wednesday of every month, I'll be teaming up with Dave Scott to bring you Ghosts of the Great White North. Each month, we will bring on guests from across Canada to discuss their ghostly encounters. Canada is a paranormal hotbed with stories you've never heard, so we're going to bring them to you. So get comfy on your Chesterfield, grab a donut, and join us, eh?
Welcome back to the second half of Spaced Out Radio. Tonight, I am your host, Dave Scott. Thank you so much for tuning us on in. I want to remind all of you that you can find all of our archives for free at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you. You can rock out to Bumblefoot, do a little shopping at our SOR Vault. It's our brand new store. And, of course, you can sign up for the SOR Space Travelers Club. Head over to We Read the Night to pick up some books for yourself. Yeah, we got it all. spacedoutradio.co. Don't forget to catch up on your news with the SOR Newswire as well. Author Rob Gutro is with us tonight on Spaced Out Radio. We love having Rob around here. He has a brand new book called Kindred Spirits. I'd love for you to go to Amazon and pick it on up because it's a good one. Rob is an extremely talented writer. You will get thoroughly involved with this. It's about communicating with the spirit on the other side that has become a friend. Rob, welcome back.
Well, thank you, Dave. Thank you for welcoming me back. I'm still here.
You wanted to share a couple of stories with us.
Sure. Yeah. For the reason I wrote this book, by the way, Kindred Spirits, is because Ed, who is the spirit that I never met and who passed in 1996, has come back to me so many times that it's like talking to a friend that lives in another state or province that you don't see, but you hear from them. So that's the way I look at it. And that's the way I think we should all look at the spirits of our loved ones who have crossed over. It's like they live in another state. I mean, they're always there, and they'll let us know when they're going to be around. As I like to tell people that the time to look for signs are, and Ed has certainly filled up those events with his communications. He's usually quite active. What's interesting here is that he's usually active around his birthday. Now, Ed and I are born 2 days apart. My birthday is actually next week. Ed's birthday is October 15th.
Oh, wow.
And I will tell you that speaking to you tonight about Ed's book was not a coincidence. It was Ed that arranged for this date to be open on both of our calendars around his birthday so that I could be talking about him. And that's how spirit works.
Well, that's a good coincidence. Very good.
No such thing as a coincidence when it comes to spirit.
Oh, but I have to remain skeptical, my friend. I can't wear the tinfoil all the time.
Well, you can put the tinfoil on for now, and then take it off after.
I can do that. I can do that.
You look darn smart in tinfoil.
Well, sometimes I do. Sometimes I do, my friend, But in regards to the way Ed is and the relationship on the other side that you have cultivated with him, which is in the book Kindred Spirit, how has this relationship communicated? Or how has the communication been in this relationship? How does it happen?
Well, Ed likes to do a lot of different things. So, and the reason, and in the book, you'll learn many of the ways that Ed communicates with me, and it actually is it will teach you the ways to look for communications from the spirits of your loved ones. So it's not really just about Ed's story. It's actually about Ed teaching us many of the ways that spirit will communicate. One of the ways that he loves to communicate is using coins, which kind of fits in with one of the signs that he gave me, the jingle. So what's interesting is that Ed passed away in 1996. That was 23 years ago. I will tell you that in the last 14 years, most of the coins that I have ever found are dated 1996. Ed is always letting me know he's around. Now, it's kind of unusual to find a coin that's more than 10 years old, very often, because they recirculate. They take these older coins out of circulation, rather. But when you think about it, I would say probably like 60% of the coins that I find in 1996. That is truly not a coincidence. It is very odd. And it's usually whenever I'm thinking about Ed.
Well, I do have to – I'm going to cut you off right there because I have a question about that. Sure. What is with coins? Because I have never, ever bought into this coin theory.
Okay.
All right? And then after my nephew passed away, I find dimes. Including, I am someone who does not carry change. The sound of that jingling in the pocket drives me haywire. I hate change. I hate my wallet. I hate anything in my pants pockets. Sure. All right? And I remember all of a sudden, a couple months after my nephew passed, I started finding dimes, even in my pockets. And like I said, I don't carry change. If I get change, I'm the guy who puts it immediately, unless it's $1 or $2 coin, not to sound cheap, but if I have like quarters or dimes or nickels, I'll put them somewhere or I'll just leave them there, right? Because I just can't stand it. And yet here I am finding dimes all over my house, all over, if I go to the supermarket, I'll look down, there'll be a dime. My pockets. Yeah. What is with spirits and coins? Why?
It's the easiest way for a spirit to convey that their presence is with you. And one of the ways they do that is by sending you a coin or apporting it, moving it, using their energy so that you can see it at a given time. One of the ways they can do that is to send you a coin with a year that is significant in their life or your life. So Ed died in 1996, which is why I continue to find these coins dated 1996. Sometimes they have to their year may not be that close or that on the mark. They can only apport to where you are to do it. So, have you noticed the year on the coins that you find?
Never really looked.
Okay.
I haven't even looked at that. It's just dimes. That's it. That's all I find now.
Well, so that's fascinating because mostly I find pennies. So it's been a long time since I found a dime. I do remember one time I did find a dime in the last couple of years, and it was dated 2008, and that was the year my dad passed away. So I knew he was with me. And my dad, by the way, is always with me whenever I'm giving a lecture or whenever I'm being interviewed, because my dad used to he worked in insurance during the day, but he would teach classes at night, and he was great at speaking, public speaking. So he kind of taught me not to be afraid. So he's always around me, and I can sense him around. But Ed is actually in the room with me right now. And he's saying, "Don't screw it up." So look at the year the next time you find a coin, and that will give you a clue to the identity of the spirit on the other side of who it may be. Yeah,
I definitely will. That is intriguing that you say that. That's really cool because I wanted to know about that because it just tripped me out a little bit. It really has.
What's interesting is actually one time I actually found a $20 bill. There was only one time, and it's kind of funny. I was walking the dogs, and I was walking with my husband, and I found a $20 bill, And he said, he said, "Who's that from?" And I looked at the date on it. It was 2008. I said, "Oh, that's from my dad." And so he looked up at the sky and he says, "Grandma, stop sending me nickels and dimes. I want $20 bills." He never got one.
Well, that's too bad.
Yeah, but I thought it was kind of funny. So Ed loves using coins, and what's interesting is that when back in 2011, before I went to decided to go visit his dad for the first time, one of the signs he gave me was the word jingle. Now, I didn't associate jingle with coins when he gave it to me. All I could think of was Christmas, and like jingle bells, and I kept thinking to myself, what in the world? Why is jingle personal? Why is that important? I couldn't fathom it. So that was one of the many things that I wrote down to discuss with his dad. So, long story short, when we got to Virginia and we met his dad, by the way, we met his dad at a cemetery, and in the book you'll read about how Ed showed up in the cemetery and how he made his presence, what he had to say to his dad and my husband to let them know that he was there. But so when we get back to his dad's house, we sat and we went through this list of things and to tick them off and figure out what they meant. So I got to the word jingle, and I said to his dad, "Ed tells me that this is really an intensely personal thing," and I said, "I can't honestly figure out what it could mean." So his dad sat there for a minute, and it's like a light bulb went off, and he looked at me and he said, "We need to go in the other room." So we walked quickly into another room, and in that room there were belongings of Ed's, the only things, leftover things that Ed had before he passed. So he reached into a bookcase and he retrieved a container, and he turned the container around and he showed me the front of it. The front of the container had two words, huge words, and it had Jingle Java on it. It was a tin can, and he said this was the can that Ed used to keep his loose change. He said that it was a homemade kind of arts and crafts project that was a gift from two of his old college friends that were now graphic artists. And he said they created it to say Jingle Java because Ed used to say he always needed jingle to get his Java, his coffee. Now, there is no way I could have ever known that. And when I told his dad automatically knew exactly what it was. A personal message from Ed that, only resonated with people he knew. So it was not anything to do with Christmas.
Why does Ed feel the need to stick around?
So we found out that Ed Ed feels like he didn't get a chance to live out the rest of his life.
How old was he when he passed?
He was 35.
Oh, young man.
Yeah, he was a young guy. And he wasn't, it turned out his suicide wasn't a suicide. It was an accident. And I'm not going to,
we're not going to press you
the details.
For the details.
But you'll read about, how he actually helped me prove that it was an accident. He helped me prove it was an accident so many years after his passing, which was just, to me, it was mind-blowing. But his dad totally understood how it could have happened. And And when it looks like somebody has taken their own life, you look around for clues. You look around for a note or something like that. And there was no such note. Tom said that. His dad said that. So Tom and Ed had broken up the year before Ed passed. And Ed was living with his grandmother, or living somewhere else. So there was no note, and Ed had a calendar book out on his dresser when he died, and there were appointments for the next week. Now, if somebody knows that they're going to take their own life, they don't make appointments for the next week. They clear their calendar. They prepare, and they leave a note. That's typically what people do. But he didn't do that. So that was always a mystery to Ed's father and to his family. And Ed, through this visit and all of these messages, Ed was able to give me proof that he did not intentionally take his own life. And his dad, after our visit, after we went through all these other signs and symbols and so forth, for the first time in 15 years, I can finally stop grieving for Ed's passing.
Well,
so that was pretty powerful. Yeah, that was pretty powerful. And I gave his dad a big hug. Ed said, go give him a hug for me. And I'm like, okay. And, I said, I just met him today. Will you think that's odd? And he goes, no, just go do it. I'm like, so I did it. So his dad was very grateful. And so of course I befriended his dad immediately. And we've been in communications and so forth. And same with his brother and sister-in-law. And they've had their own signs. They've had their own signs from Ed too. But this book is really a fascinating look at how spirit can communicate with us. So Ed has shown up on various vacations we've taken in a number of different ways. Ed actually rescued us when we got lost in England by sending someone that looked like him, had he lived to be in his 50s, which was freaky. So, that's kind of a cool story to read too. Totally. And there's a couple of pictures of Ed in here. And Ed was also instrumental in helping me deal with the passing of one of our dogs. So that's another lesson for people that, the spirits of our loved ones, when we lose a pet, and you mentioned that you just lost your is it Chihuahua Dachshund mix?
Yeah.
Yeah. We have a Chihuahua Dachshund mix too, by the way. He's one of our 4 dogs. And Ed has helped prove that spirit of our loved ones are on the other side, and they help our pets cross over. They wait for them, and they help them cross over. So that right there is a personal message to you from this interview, is that the spirits of your loved ones were there when your dog was at his time to cross, and they helped him cross over.
That's nice.
Yeah,
that's nice. That's nice. My favorite dog that I ever had passed away about 11 years ago now. Hard to believe that long. And he was just the perfect dog. Never had to leash him. Loved kids. Kids could crawl all over him. He didn't care. When he had enough, he would just go into another room and lay down. And anyways, long story short, after I started getting into connecting with myself on this level, I started getting visions of him. And he would always show me this really awesome image, and by God, I hope it's true. He has this vision that he keeps showing me that when it comes to my time to head on over to the other side, that one of the things that he loved doing was going fishing with me.
That's awesome.
And numerous times I've seen the exact same vision where here he is sitting on a beach and the sun is directly ahead of him, and I am fly fishing, standing in the lake ahead of him, and all he's doing is watching me fish.
Wow.
And it has been clear as day vivid. And I'm just like, I am so there. Oh, I am so there. I am such a terrible fly fisherman. Why would you choose fly fishing? I cannot fly fish. Let's go to the river. Get some current going. You know?
Because
I'm
it's not about fly
fisherman.
fishing. It's not about fly fishing. It's about spending time together.
Oh, yeah. 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 It was one of the most I've seen that image probably 3, 4, maybe 5 times when he's been around, and it is very profound, very powerful to me, and I'm just kind of like, yeah, I could dig that. I could dig that, doing a little fishing on the other side, you know, totally do that. I'm game for it. Now I gotta wait. I'm gonna wait 42 years. Check out. Oh, hold on. Oh my gosh. I'm 46 now. Hold on. No, I got 39 years left. 39 years left.
And how do you know that?
Oh, this gets real peak woo. I channeled my son before he was born.
Okay.
And apparently originally I was supposed to check out at 75. And because I was 40 when he was born, and I was very worried about the amount of time that I would get with him, he gave me another 10 years. Or they gave me another 10 years. Cool, eh?
That's pretty good.
That's peak woo at its finest right there. Complete peak woo at its finest right there. I can't get much more woo than that right there. But I guess every day I wait and see. No real choice. You know what I'm saying? No real choice.
It's all a wait and see thing, and that's actually a good thing to keep in mind, is that every day is a gift for us on the physical plane, and that we really need to be mindful and of each other.
Oh, you're absolutely right.
That's one thing that Spirit always tells me, is that, treat everybody the way you want to be treated, and be kind to everybody. Do not show hatred. Do not show intolerance. Accept everybody for who they are, and don't try to change them, because it's our different make us better people.
Right.
So. Yep.
Rob, I'm going to get you to hold on there, because we are going to go to break here at the top of the hour. 2 hours down, 1 hour to go. We got, for the next half hour, author Rob Gutro. We're going to ask him about animal communication, because that's kind of cool. And we're going to get to the SOR Newswire and the thought of the Dave. We're going to finish up strong here in hour 3. Author Rob Gutro returns right after this on Spaced Out Radio.
Hello, this is your guitar man, Ron Bumblefoot Thal, and I have to tell you, I love the response I get for Little Brother Is Watching from Spaced Out Radio fans. It's amazing how music can inspire and make people think deeper about what's going on in the supernatural world. You can head over to my website, bumblefoot.com, to check out my music, my guitar workshops, my touring, even check out some of the hot sauces that I'm working on. And make sure you keep on listening, because with Spaced Out Radio, you know Little Brother is watching.
Looking for a place to advertise at a very reasonable cost? Look no further than Spaced Out Radio. SpacedOutRadio.com has an advertising tab that you can click to check out our daily, weekly, and monthly packages to play on the radio, or our website including social media. From commercial spots to banners, we have it all. Check out our competitive pricing today.
A little bit of science, a little bit of skepticism. Add a dash of snark, and you have the makings of Spaced Out Sundays with me, Everett Thiemer. Together we will look into the reality of the paranormal with an open eye and rational thought. Oh, did I mention there'll be plenty of woo as well? Your time spent with Spaced Out Sundays will make the night even better. The chat rooms are open 9:06 p.m. Pacific, 12:06 a.m. Eastern, right here at spacedoutradio.com.
Every night on Spaced Out Radio, we have places for you to hang out. Hi, this is Carl. Join our SOR Space Travelers group on Facebook for live chat. On Twitter, using hashtag Spaced Out Radio. You can also join us in our Spreaker chat room. Check us out on Instagram at Dave Scott SOR. All of our archives are free on YouTube at Spaced Out Radio. By the way, I'll be watching you at your window until you do. Bye!
Move over, brother, and let me own Saturday night.
This is Rich Giordano, and I'm inviting you to tune on in to Spaced Out Saturdays starting at 9 p.m. Pacific, 12 a.m. Eastern, where I'm going to bust open the lids on everything paranormal. Why? Because we want answers, and I'm the guy who's going to deliver those answers to you. Join the chat rooms, and we'll see you this Saturday. Just be there. No, really.
We all know on Spaced Out Radio we love a good beard and mustache, so why not take care of your facial hair with Mighty Moose Beard Oil? Made in Canada, we're taking care of beards and stashes around the world. We use 100% natural ingredients with our oils and balms to make your whiskers feel silky smooth. Use promo code SOR2019 at MightyMooseBeard.com today.
A timepiece is a reflection of who you are, and what better way to show off the real you than with an Escape watch? Escape is a lifestyle brand accessorizing your days and nights. Choose to escape and create the life of discovery that you deserve. Dream, play, unite with your own personalized Escape watch. Head to escapewatches.com. There is no time like the present to enjoy your escape. Use promo code SMF2017 for your 20% discount today.
At spacedoutradio.com, we have a little bit of everything for you to stay up late. So while you're there, check out our SOR Newswire, where our team brings you stories of the weird and strange to the WTF from around the globe. News on Bigfoot, UFOs, paranormal, Darwinian-type crime tales. It's the stories that the mainstream media usually won't touch. Well, we got them all on the SOR Newswire, only at spacedoutradio.com.
Are you intrigued by Paranormal Talk Radio? You'll love the new Paranormal Radio app from TalkStream Live. You'll find a great selection of talk shows covering UFOs, ghosts, strange phenomena, and much more. Download the Paranormal Radio app now and start listening to the very best in paranormal talk entertainment, including the network you're listening to right now, the Paranormal Radio app, free in Google Play and the iOS App Store.
Looking for something new to push your limits? Look Beyond the Spectrum, a new docuseries featuring some of the best researchers in the world when it comes to everything from UFOs, government cover-ups, and Bigfoot in the forest. Truth seekers like Steve Bassett, Dr. Jeff Meldrum, Richard Dolan, as well as others all chip in to bring their knowledge to you. Beyond the Spectrum can be found on Amazon as well as Tubi TV. Tell us what you think on our Amazon page.
Coming soon to our website, spacedoutradio.com, is the SOR Space Travelers Club. For just $5 a month, you can get into a private area on our site where you can hang with other listeners in our chat room, post in our forum, and check out a bunch of exclusive content and store that won't be found anywhere else, including a nightly after-show party with Dave. It's going to be the best $5 a month you're going to spend. The SOR Space Travelers, only at spacedoutradio.com.
Visit purpleplates.com today. For over 40 years, the Purple Energy Plates have been delivering amazing results for their many customers. Inspired by the great genius Nikola Tesla, the harmony, healing, and energetic effects of the plates have proven over and over to be beneficial and often miraculous to thousands of customers. Check their site for daily specials and choose from their many energy products. You won't be sorry. Visit them today at purpleplates.com.
We're adding to the entertainment online for Spaced Out Radio. I'm Amber Beckrud, and I want to invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel and check out Cryptid Tales, where I will take you on a journey into some of the strangest legends and lore from around the world. relaying the stories to you of the strange creatures and experiences that people have had throughout time. You can find Cryptid Tales at youtube.com/spacedoutradio. And while you're there, don't forget to check out our free archives and leave a comment. See you there.
On the first Tuesday of every month, I encourage you to come along for a journey with me, Geraldine Orozco, on The Spiritual You. Together, we will take a look at how to access the highest expression of yourself and change your life. Consciousness, ET contact, health, and wellness, we can talk about it all. So come along for a spiritual ride with me, Geraldine Orozco, on The Spiritual You, only on Spaced Out Radio.
Heading to Vancouver and looking for a night on the town? The Moose Vancouver is the bar that never stops rocking until 2 a.m. every night. The Moose has great food with everything on the menu from $6.95 to $8.95. Fantastic, vibrant staff and rock and roll that will bring you back to when the music was real, the hair was long, and the guitars were rocking. Get your party on at the Moose Vancouver, the official party bar of Spaced Out Radio.
Would you like to connect with us? Head to spacedoutradio.com for all your latest show info. Now, back to Dave Scott and SOR.
Third and final hour of Spaced Out Radio is underway tonight. I am your host, Dave Scott. Thank you so much for being with us. We want to say hello to everyone on the digital side on Revolution Radio and Kingdom of Nye Radio. We're on terrestrial stations, UPRN 107.7 FM in New Orleans, KCFX 93.7 FM in Ridgecrest, California, in Dangerfield, Texas, KDNF AM 1560, KDUN AM 1030 in Reedsport, Oregon, and WQEE 99.1 FM down in Noonan, Georgia, where they filmed The Walking Dead. Don't forget, all of our archives are free for you at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Just do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club. Mega Cairo Terran? I don't know. Mega Cairo Terran is your password. Use it wisely, Space Travelers, as the Clam sets the password each and every night right here on Spaced Out Radio. Our website right now is spacedoutradio.co, not .com. We're moving it over to the .com site here. Hopefully we'll have it up and running by the weekend. And while you're there, you can peruse a number of options now because we have a plethora of features for you. Do a little shopping at the SOR Vault, our store, t-shirts, mugs, hoodies, you name it, we got it. You can also do a little shopping at We Read the Night. This is our authors page where we have authors on there. We put them on and you can buy their books right there. It's really cool. So that would be awesome as well. Of course, you can also sign up for the SOR Space Travelers Club, $5 a month. We got some cool features there for you. We'd love for you to do that. And so much more. More coming as well. Trying to make it fun and interesting around there. For the final time tonight, we introduce author Rob Gutro. He's got a brand new book out on Amazon called Kindred Spirits. Highly suggest you check it out. Rob is a very, very talented author. So make sure you do that. Rob, welcome back.
Thank you, Dave. Thanks for the upsell. That's very nice of you.
Well, that's what I do for a living, man. I'm always upselling. Always selling. ABCs. Always be closing. But
there you go.
You also communicate with animals, and you are very close to animals. You got a number of dogs, a plethora of dogs, because that's our favorite word around here.
That's it, yeah.
And one of the things that always intrigues me, and I've talked to a number of animal communicators before, is we as humans, we don't tend to think that animals really know what's going on. Outside of maybe dogs. We know cats just don't care. They're just in their own world. You know, who knows about if you have fish or reptiles or rodents like mice or gerbils or animals like rabbits, whatever it may be that we try to have as pets. What's it like to communicate with animals? How intelligent are they towards us?
They are really intelligent. They're more intelligent than we think they are. So being a scientist myself, it's important for me to understand how animals domesticated animals can communicate with us. So what I did is I've read quite a number of books by Dr. Stanley Coren, who analyzed how all the different levels that dogs will learn on. He used dogs as a baseline because he has dogs himself. It turns out there are many levels. There is routine. There is emotional learning. There's playing, learning how to play with others, and socialization. All kinds of levels. They learn language. If you think about it, we teach them obedience training or whatever, and they learn all these different words. They hear the words that we say. They also read tone, and they read emotion. So, you're a pet parent, so you know that dogs know when you're happy, when you're sad, when you're sick, and they pay more attention to you. When you're angry, they go in the other room. They learn schedule. They learn routine. So if you're late with their dinner or their breakfast, they will let you know it. I've spoken to many people who said that their dogs have figured out how to open cabinets, and they remember where the treats are. They have phenomenal memories. And we've heard many stories about how dogs can find their way home, dogs that are lost. So animals are really, really intelligent. And as a matter of fact, I think the top 3 most intelligent breeds, according to Dr. Stanley Coren, are Border Collies, Poodles, and German Shepherds. And there was one Border Collie that just passed who was able to identify over 1,000 words. Did you hear that story?
I did not.
Okay. Look it up on the internet. That knew more than 1,000 words. And dogs are not entirely colorblind. I found that out too. They can see yellow and blue, and then all other colors appear as shades of gray. So that particular Border Collie was trained to be able to find a yellow ball versus the blue ball. Interesting is I kind of put that to the test. Here, we have 4 dogs, a Weimaraner, 2 Dachshunds, and a Dachshund Chihuahua mix. And we bought, one Christmas, we bought stuffed dog toys that were the Woodstock character from Snoopy. Are you familiar with that character?
Yes.
Okay, so he's a yellow little bird. Now, out of the 2 big baskets of toys that we have, 2 of our dogs only play with the yellow toys because they can see the color. The color is different from all the others. So I did that experiment, and sure enough, it is true. They can see the yellow color versus the other colors. Fascinating stuff. The animals can also communicate through affection and emotion. Being a pet parent, that your animals feel the same emotions that humans do. Dr. Gregory Burns in 2013 wrote a book called How Dogs Love Us. And in that book, the base for the book was he wanted to prove to people who said animals are mindless, soulless zombies. And there are people that think that for some reason. He wanted to prove that animals have the same emotions that humans do. So he did. And he did that by teaching dogs to sit still for an MRI. Have you had an MRI, Dave?
I have not.
Okay, we have to sit still for like 40 minutes and not move. And they put you in this revolving cylinder. And they put earplugs in your ears. Well, they had to do that and train these dogs to sit still for that long period of time. And then they had people approach the dog, the pet parent versus complete strangers, and they measured the response in the brain using the MRI, and they found out the caudate section of the brain lit up whenever the pet parent came by. That showed the same exact emotion of love that it does in humans.
Oh, wow.
So, and those things are in my books, Pets in the Afterlife and Pets in the Afterlife 2, those two studies. So to me as a scientist, it's really important to prove that dogs have not only the ability to learn and the intelligence on so many levels, but they also share the same exact emotions that we do. So with pets, like children, can communicate with us. So there you go. There's all the science. This is sciencey stuff. But it's important to understand, that it's not fluff. It's not there's a scientific basis for animals communicating with us.
That is very interesting indeed, because it's funny you mentioned about the toy colors, because my old dog that I used to love taking fishing, he would not play with anything unless it was a yellow tennis ball, like a regular greenish yellow tennis ball. I remember going to PetSmart, buying him a bunch of different colored tennis balls that for Christmas one year. Wouldn't play with them. Was not even interested. I'd go to the dollar store, pick up a pack of 3 greenish yellow tennis balls, a regular tennis ball color, all over them, like they were nothing.
Isn't it? Yeah. And it's true.
Yeah.
It's true. They can see that yellow color and blue. So the question that I have for you in regards to animal communication, are there certain animals that will not communicate? Do they have to be pets? So for instance, if I'm out in the forest and I come across a cougar or a bear, can I telepathically communicate with them for them to understand the message? Or if I talk to them, will they understand? They'll probably understand the tone of your voice. It's just like registering a growl or any kind of noise. But they certainly wouldn't understand the words. They can understand the tone, and they can understand the emotion, and they can, of course, read. I think we emit pheromones when we are scared, and they can smell that. They can smell fear. But wild animals don't have the ability to communicate with us the way that domesticated animals can, because they don't know our emotions, they don't know our words, they don't know our habits, they don't know the environment in which we live. But pets do, and therein lies the difference. So I can't communicate with wild animals. I can only communicate with domesticated animals, domesticated pets. And, I've had messages from rabbits, and was a guinea pig. Somebody asked me about snakes, and I just wouldn't go there. But
I don't blame you.
Yeah. But it's all about, it's able to be able to understand the environment in which we share. That's the key. We have to share the same environment to understand each other. Because we don't understand when what a lion is thinking and feeling, but we can understand what our dog is thinking. We can look at their body language and so forth, and know what they want to do. Like if they get up and they want to go out, or if they want to drink water, or if they're not feeling well, we can tell the difference. It's about sharing the environment, and that's the baseline of communications. It's between the living first, and then it's between those that pass.
What about something like crows? We always hear that crows are very intelligent creatures, and there's been so many instances reported in the media where if you see a crow and you befriend it, and let's say you give it a treat, it will bring you something back as a gift.
I hadn't heard that.
Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah. It's very interesting how crows seem to be that way. I would suggest.
Do you know anybody that's happened to?
It was happening to a young girl in the Seattle area, I believe, or in Washington State.
Okay.
There's a report out of Vancouver that a very friendly crow that they nicknamed Canuck may have passed away, and people are worried about him. They're trying to find him because he was very friendly. Little stories like that.
That's interesting. Yeah. So birds have communicated actually with me, but they've been domesticated birds. So I think I have a couple of stories about birds communicating, not only with me but with other people too that have shared their stories. So yeah, birds can definitely communicate with us. But
what about house cats? What about house cats? Because they are aloof at the best of times, and they seem to pack a little bit of swagger, a little bit of ego, like they are above us. I'm just curious.
House cats can actually communicate with us, and they actually do, but they're kind of stealthy in their communications. I've talked to quite a number of people who have had messages from their cats, and quite a number of cats have actually come through to me too. What they say is that they really behave the same way in the afterlife that they do in the physical world. So often they won't say anything, they won't make much of a noise, but they will usually like to jump up on the bed of their pet parent, especially on the end of the bed, and they can the pet parent can sense the little paw prints at the end of the bed. Sometimes they will lean against your leg in spirit, and you can feel a slight pressure, even a cold pressure, because the spirit is using the energy of molecules motion to manifest. I had a cat brush by me when I was on a paranormal investigation, and I asked the woman about it, the homeowner, and she said, no, there's no cat here, but there used to be. The previous owner so had a cat, and it turns out the cat was still there, didn't cross over, which is unusual. But so cats can communicate. They're just a little more stealthy about it. But they are pretty smart. Of course, they think they're smarter than we are. But that's just a cat.
Where does their attitude come from?
Gosh, that's a good question. I don't know. I'm a dog dad, so I can only interpret what cats say. I will tell you that more cats than others tend to be more all about themselves. That's just the kind of feeling the overall feeling that I get when I communicate with them. They like to take care of themselves. They're very independent, I think. That's the general message from the cats on the other side. But the love that they have for their pet parents is very much the same as dogs have for their pet parents. They just show it in a different way.
Yeah, like scratching you, biting you, attacking you.
It's a love bite.
Yeah, sure. Sure it is. Jerks. Absolute jerks. That's what they are. I love them, but they're absolute jerks. But I will say this. I had 2 cats that were just phenomenal. And they're both gone now. But I'll tell you, the second anybody in our family got sick, these 2 cats were right there. There was no running around, no playing, no nothing. They were right there to make sure that you were warm. Like they were trying to give you that heat energy to take away that sickness.
Did they do that in the afterlife too?
Didn't notice. Did not notice.
So one of the ways that the cats, another way that cats can communicate, aside from the physical thing, they can meow from the afterlife, and like a dog, it always sounds like it's coming from another room. It's actually coming from spirit, and it takes a lot of energy to do that. You can hear you may hear some scratching. People may hear scratching or a collar if your cat has a collar. One of the other ways that a cat can communicate, and by the way, animals can come into your dreams. That's the easiest way for any spirit to communicate with us. But one woman I had spoken to said that her cat, it was about 2 weeks after her cat passed. She was going to work, and there was a fence close to her business where she worked, and she saw a cat perched on the fence that looked just like her cat that passed. And she thought, that's really weird. I've never seen that cat before. It was about a week or two after her cat passed. Well, she saw that cat for a week, every morning when she went to work. And she suddenly realized that her cat was sending that cat so that she would see it, to know that her cat is still with her in spirit. She said after that week, she's never seen that cat again. But when she finally got the message that her cat is still very much around her in spirit, then she didn't see that other cat anymore. So they can lead us to another pet that looks exactly like them. And dogs do the same thing.
You know, it's funny you say that, because my sister and her son, the one who passed away, when he was about 5-6 years old, their dachshund was run over by a vehicle right in front of their house. And within a couple of days of him passing, this black and white collie shows up at their door. And they named him Oreo. And just absolutely befriended my nephew. Would not go anywhere without my nephew. Even if they were going to school. Had to go in the car. Complete stranger dog. And Oreo was with them for, I think, a year and a half. Almost like to calm their nerves from the tragedy of losing their dog. And then one day, he just went outside for a pee and ran away. Like his job was done.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, so
they're
that
like,
leads...
where's the dog? Where's Oreo? Well,
that leads to another way that spirit... dogs and cats will also help us choose or lead us to the next pet that we will adopt. Or they'll influence the other pet to find us, whether it be like Oreo showing up at a door, or us going in and just happen to find the one pet that we connect with, and we can't explain that. And that connection is actually because spirit is leading us to that dog or cat at that time.
Right.
So, yeah.
Rob, I want to say thank you for coming on Spaced Out Radio tonight. What a pleasure. I want to have you back on where we just talk about animal communication, maybe early in the new year, once all the holidays and everything are done. I'd love to just sit there because I want to spend more time on that topic, my friend.
Okay. That'd be great.
Wonderful. All right. You hold on. Rob's new book, Kindred Spirit, can be found at Amazon.com, so make sure you check it out. Author Rob Gutro. Coming up next, we have the SOR Newswire and the Thought of the Day. Stay tuned.
Visit purpleplates.com today. For over 40 years, the Purple Energy Plates have been delivering amazing results for their many customers. Inspired by the great genius Nikola Tesla, the harmony, healing, and energetic effects of the plates have proven over and over to be beneficial and often miraculous to thousands of customers. Check their site for daily specials and choose from their many energy products. You won't be sorry. Visit them today at purpleplates.com.
At spacedoutradio.com, we have a little bit of everything for you to stay up late. So while you're there, check out our SOR Newswire, where our team brings you stories of the weird and strange to the WTF from around the globe. News on Bigfoot, UFOs, paranormal, Darwinian-type crime tales. It's the stories that the mainstream media usually won't touch. Well, we got them all on the SOR Newswire, only at spacedoutradio.com.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7, with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
A little bit of science, a little bit of skepticism. Add a dash of snark and you have the makings of Spaced Out Sundays with me, Everett Thieme. Together we will look into the reality of the paranormal with an open eye and rational thought. Oh, did I mention there'll be plenty of woo as well? Your time spent with Spaced Out Sundays will make the night even better. The chat rooms are open, 9:06 p.m. Pacific, 12:06 a.m. Eastern, right here at spacedoutradio.com.
We all know on Spaced Out Radio we love a good beard and mustache, so why not take care of your facial hair with Mighty Moose Beard Oil? Made in Canada, we're taking care of beards and stashes around the world. We use 100% natural ingredients with our oils and balms to make your whiskers feel silky smooth. Use promo code SOR2019 at MightyMooseBeard.com today.
We're bringing you something new to the documentary world. Beyond the Spectrum will take you on an historic tour of topics like no other. Sasquatch, UFOs, government secrecy, and more, keeping you on the edge of your seats through the eyes of legendary truth seekers like Steve Bassett, Richard Dolan, Dr. Jeff Meldrum, and Jack Kasher. Head on over to Amazon Prime or Tubi TV and check us out. Please leave a comment for the filmmakers on their film's Amazon page.
Coming soon to our website, spacedoutradio.com, is the SOR Space Travelers Club. For just $5 a month, you can get into a private area on our site where you can hang with other listeners in our chat room, post in our forum, and check out a bunch of exclusive content and store that won't be found anywhere else, including a nightly after-show party with Dave. It's going to be the best $5 a month you're going to spend. The SOR Space Travelers, only at spacedoutradio.com.
Move over, brother, and let me own Saturday night.
This is Rich Giordano, and I'm inviting you to tune on in to Spaced Out Saturdays starting at 9 p.m. Pacific, 12 a.m. Eastern, where I'm going to bust open the lids on everything paranormal. Why? Because we want answers, and I'm the guy who's going to deliver those answers to you. Join the chat rooms, and we'll see you this Saturday. Just be there. No, really.
Every night on Spaced Out Radio, we have places for you to hang out. Hi, this is Carl. Join our SOR Space Travelers group on Facebook for live chat. On Twitter, using hashtag Spaced Out Radio. You can also join us in our Spreaker chat room. Check us out on Instagram at Dave Scott SOR. All of our archives are free on YouTube at Spaced Out Radio. By the way, I'll be watching you at your window until you do. Bye!
We're adding to the entertainment online for Spaced Out Radio. I'm Amber Beckrud, and I want to invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel and check out Cryptid Tales, where I will take you on a journey into some of the strangest legends and lore from around the world, relaying the stories to you of the strange creatures and experiences that people have had throughout time. You can find Cryptid Tales at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. And while you're there, don't forget to check out our free archives and leave a comment. See you there.
Heading to Vancouver and looking for a night on the town? The Moose Vancouver is the bar that never stops rocking until 2 a.m. every night. The Moose has great food with everything on the menu from $6.95 to $8.95. Fantastic, vibrant staff and rock and roll that will bring you back to when the music was real, the hair was long, and the guitars were rockin'. Get your party on at the Moose Vancouver, the official party bar of Spaced Out Radio.
Hello, this is your guitar man, Ron Bumblefoot Thal, and I have to tell you, I love the response I get for Little Brother is Watching from Spaced Out Radio fans. It's amazing how music can inspire and make people think deeper about what's going on in the supernatural world. You can head over to my website, bumblefoot.com, to check out my music, my guitar workshops, my touring, even check out some of the hot sauces that I'm working on. And make sure you keep on listening, because with Spaced Out Radio, you know Little Brother is watching.
Looking for a place to advertise at a very reasonable cost? Look no further than Spaced Out Radio. SpacedOutRadio.com has an advertising tab that you can click to check out our daily, weekly, and monthly packages to play on the radio, or our website including social media. From commercial spots to banners, we have it all. Check out our competitive pricing today.
We've rounded third. We're heading for home tonight. I am your host, Dave Scott, sitting in the captain's chair of SOR headquarters. Thank you so much for joining us. Really appreciate you taking the time. Reminder to all of you that our archives are free. Yeah. Go to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. That's all I ask. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we got a bunch of cool features for you here. I'm going to take a moment to kind of go through this. We're going to be launching it on spacedoutradio.com. Right now it's at spacedoutradio.co. Yeah, .co. And what we've done here is we had to redo our site. The reason why is the Gavinator who was working on it, he kind of got busy with some other projects and said, I just don't have the time. So Jim Mallard from the Mallard Report actually jumped on in and said, yeah, I'll do it. I'll take it over. So he did. And what a job Jim has done. Honestly, we've got a bunch of tabs up there that you can check out. You can join the SOR Space Travelers Club, where, as you know, we're keeping our archives free. And for $5 a month, we've put up a big forum there. We want it to be very interactive. We're going to have a chat room in there. I will be in there, probably starting Monday night. I will be in there chatting away. I've also had Jim put in a video section. So eventually, we got to get another computer set up here, but we're going to go back on video, much like about a year and a half ago when we started the whole Periscope thing. We're going to be doing that in the Space Travelers Club. We're going to set that up. It may take a little bit of time, but we're definitely going to get some video streaming going of the studio. I got to figure out if there's a way that I can get the guest in there as well, if they have a camera. So if you're a member of the Space Travelers, you're going to be able to watch the entire show on video, which is kind of cool. That's what we want to do. And a whole interactive section in there for you. We're going to be getting some exclusive content for you to listen to, whether it's interviews or whether it's just stories that we have. It's going to be a lot of fun. So make sure you sign up for that. One of the other things we also want to say is we are very proud, as of today, to sign on I don't know if many of you know this, but there's this really popular website out there called the CHIVE. It's thechive.com. Keep calm and chive on. You've probably seen their T-shirts all over the place. Anyways, we have signed up with them to be their official paranormal radio show. And what that does with CHIVE Charities. So they have this great charity called CHIVE Charities that helps children and adults who have extremely rare diseases. It does phenomenal work with veterans. If you're into supporting veterans, you probably know what CHIVE Charities is. So we have signed up with them, and we're going to start running commercials for them. And if you want to check it out, go to our website, click on the CHIVE Charities banner. It's right there. Looks fantastic. So it's good to add a charity to what we do, too. And it's a charity I believe in because when they set a goal, they try and beat that goal every time. So if they set a goal for, say, $10,000, they may end up with $40,000, $50,000 from donations because people just care. They want to make sure that if it's a child or a veteran or someone else in need, that they are going to be taken care of. And all the money goes there. It's not one of these skim-off-the-top type charities. I didn't want that happening for our listeners. So we have got together with CHIVE Charities, and we're going to be trying to raise some money for them, too, because charities are important, but it's got to be the right charity and not one that's going to be, giving only, say, 10 cents on the dollar to actual causes. So make sure you check that on out. Our We Read the Night section, we have brought in a bunch of authors who, and we're going to be adding more, who we like. Authors we like. Come on in. You can go click on their books. You can buy their books on Amazon right there, which is fantastically cool. I suggest you do that. And what else we got here? You can go shopping in the vault if you haven't checked that out. We got some really cool logos there. And yeah, the site's not completely done yet, but we are working on it. We're almost done. We are almost done. And it looks good. It'll be over on the .com side very, very soon. Captain Shirk's news, easy to find. We've broken it all down into different sections, like UFO news, commentary. Cheryl Costa, former guest, she's writing articles for what we call the UFO beat, which is really cool. Yeah. Moon Joey from our chat room on Spreaker, he writes in there. Reverend Keith Bradley, William Pullen, the UFO historian. Captain Shirk gets her pen to paper every now and again. Me too. My blog is in there. So make sure you take a real tour. This is probably the best website we have ever had. And it's very interactive. But make sure you check things out, because this is a way we're going to keep this show going. This is the way we're going to be able to move forward. And, you know, with your help and you helping spread the word the way you guys do, it's pretty awesome. And that's what we're going to keep doing. So I appreciate that. Also, I want to give a big shout out. I'm very open about my suffering from anxiety and depression. And today I was very, very depressed. I got my reasons. I'm not going to share them with you guys because today it was personal. Today it was very, very personal. And I tell you, I just felt the lowest of the low today. Haven't felt that way in a long, long time, but I felt the lowest of the low. And I kind of put on my Facebook page today, you know, depression sucks. It really does. And I'm okay with saying I have a mental illness. But you know what? This is what got me focused. This is what kicked me out of that funk, is knowing that I got to do the show. I got to do the show. I got to talk to all of you out there. I got to chat with people in the chat rooms, on Twitter at #SpacedOutRadio as well. If you know somebody who is suffering from anxiety, depression, or something along those lines, talk to them about it. I didn't want to talk to anybody today. I forced myself to talk to people today because I knew it would get me out of the funk that I was in. So if you are someone like me who suffers from anxiety and depression, talk about it. Talk about it. Talk as long as you want. Because you know what the beautiful part about us is in this community? There's always somebody to talk to. Always somebody to talk to. Always somebody who wants to help. And that's the beautiful part about it. Because once you have somebody to talk to, just let it flow, man. Let it flow. It feels good when it comes out. You feel better. The benefit to me is I get to end every night on a positive. It doesn't matter how crappy my day is. I get to end everything on a positive because I get to spend it with all of you. And I have a lot of fun spending it with all of you. This is something I am in full control with in behind the control center here at SOR headquarters. And when you're in control, that's how you kind of bring it back together. At least I do. That's how I bring it back together and get myself refocused. So the beautiful part about this show is mentally it helps me because I end every night on a positive, and it's all because of you, our great listeners. The news is always changing, which is why we bring you the SOR Newswire at the back end of every show, where we get to the weird, the strange, the WTF stories that really, really will make you scratch your head sometimes. A young driver showed up at the California Highway Patrol's Santa Barbara station this week with a torn-up ticket that he said his dog partially ate. Police said it was the first time it's ever happened. I can't believe that. And that the driver brought it in because the unspecified violation required a sign-off. Fortunately, or not, the section for the signature was still intact and they were able to help him out, but the officer that handled the situation couldn't help but wonder if the story was true. Who knew if this actually happens? Has this ever happened to you, the CHPD asked on a Facebook post? Well, it has. Yeah. At least the guy was honest enough to say, my dog ate it and brought proof. Does look like a few teeth marks in there. Let's head to Hawaii. I don't know why this is important and why we're all kind of in awe of this, but a Hawaiian family says they received an official certificate from Guinness World Records confirming their 5.6-pound avocado is the heaviest on record. Mark, Julianne, and Lohi Pokini of Kula on the island of Maui said they picked the avocado from their tree in December and suspected they had a world record contender. The family said their certificate from Guinness arrived this week. We're excited, said Julianne, but at the same time, we're like, finally. It was such a long wait. The avocado beat the previous record of 5.5 pounds. The family says they previously grew a 5.7-pound avocado, but were unable to get the proper documentation to Guinness. A Kona farmer grew a 6.7-pound avocado in January, but discovered the fruit would not last for long enough to seek Guinness recognition. Happy Avocado Day. A 13-year-old, make that a 12-year-old girl, mimed a gun shape with her fingers last month at her Kansas middle school and pointed the gun at 4 other students and herself. For that, she was hauled off the school property in handcuffs. After officers with the Overland Park Police Department questioned her, the Westridge Middle School student was slapped with a felony charge for threatening. According to reports, she'll have her first hearing in juvenile court on Tuesday. The September 18th incident, described by an anonymous source, was the result of a student asking the girl who she would kill if she could kill 5 people. After someone anonymously flagged the incident on an anti-bullying app, all of the students were sent to the principal's office. A school resource officer employed by the local police department recommended the girl's arrest. I think that this is something that probably could have been handled in the principal's office and got completely out of hand, John Kavanaugh, the girl's grandfather, said. He added that he didn't believe his granddaughter had any access to a real gun. She was just mouthing off. But the district, located in Overland Park, Kansas, did not play a direct role in the arrest. I want to be very clear, the arrest of this student was wholly unrelated to any district policy. It was a municipal police department decision, and our policies don't impact police department decisions. Dave Smith, spokesperson for the Shawnee Mission School District. School resources officers might be particularly attuned to such behaviors, however non-threatening. In the wake of deadly mass shootings such as the February 2018 massacre in Parkland, Florida that killed 17 people, last month 2 13-year-old students within the Shawnee Mission District even brought guns to their middle school, and they were charged with misdemeanors, according to reports. There are no apparent intentions of using guns to hurt anybody. Are we getting too far with this? She's 12. 12. I mean, who hasn't played that game when they were a kid? Let's think back here. And if you say you didn't, you're a liar. Suspending her? Arresting her? Come on. Way too real. We got time for one more here. One more. Only in Florida can you become a viral sensation because of a mugshot. Ricky Dealey is gaining the wrong kind of attention after he was arrested during a traffic stop in Ocala. The Marion County Sheriff's Police Office sent out Dealey's mugshot along with 2 other passengers in the vehicle, and the Facebook post became a sensation with over 7,000 shares. During the search of a vehicle driven by Dealey, Police found 23 grams of meth, a handgun, cocaine, marijuana, 20 methylene pills, and a digital scale. Dealey had also been driving with a suspended driver's license. Dealey, Caitlin Spruill, and Logan Tisdale were all arrested and taken to jail. But you got to see this mugshot. This is beautiful. His ears stick out about 1.5 inches on each side. He's got shaved sides on his head. Then his hair is dyed red or pink. It's braided and parted down the middle. It is a beauty, people. An absolute beauty. It's the way every mugshot should look. Thought of the Day happens every night at this time, where we ask a question on our Facebook and Twitter pages, then read your responses on the air, because we love the audience participation around here. Today's Thought of the Day is as follows. If you were a ghost, how would you haunt me? All right, let's get to it. Start off with Bart. The Bart of the day, I would tickle your butt with a ghost feather. Oh, gee, thank you. Trip. I'd keep moving gnomes around so you would only see them through the corner of your eyes. Program your TV to block hockey and only play soccer. And continuously replace Doritos with the one chip challenge chips. Oh, that's mean. I'm not worried about the chip. I'm more worried about the television. Canadian Joe. I'd have a ghost Dirty Mike and the boys drive the ghost Prius over to your place. The Prius isn't even a car. It's ugly. Oh. Mike. I would haunt you as a shirtless Patrick Swayze and keep asking you to make pottery with me. Boo. Skeptic. I would team up with Carl and the gnomes for pranks. We'd replace your hot sauce with TB mild for starters. You don't touch my hot sauce. Taco Bell mild is not hot sauce. All right. Christoph, as a ghost, I would find you happy. TV shows on your TV. Thank you. Everett, our Sunday host, in the dark of the night, when your soul is most open, I would hover beside you and whisper into your ear Drake song lyrics. That's just evil. Absolutely evil. Cannot believe you would do that, Everett. Brooke, I'd take the first bite out of every single one of your sandwiches when you're not looking. Bad, Brooke. Bad. Marla, I would inspire you to clean your house and do your laundry. Why? Cynthia, with each step, I would make your socks slide down into your shoes. Oh, I hate that. That's terrible. Lone Wolf, you wake up every night during the witching hour and see this grotesque face hovering next to your bed with an eerie, disembodied voice asking you, "You mad, bro?" Oh, that would be annoying. Graham, just appear at night and show some light orbs and emanate a red glow and appear as a galactic death knight in rusted black armor with skulls and spikes on my pauldron shoulder pads. Oh, wow. Craig, a ghastly whoopee cushion. Robin, saying, "We can gnome if we want to. We could leave our friends behind, because if they don't gnome and they don't gnome, then they're no friends of mine." That's brilliant, Robin. I love that. Scott, I'd give you the creepy crawly itchies. James, I'd slip in some hair remover into your Mighty Moose beard oil. Leave the beard alone. That is cruel. Jake, I'd fart in your poutine. Fascination Street with Jimmy, Mika, and Sarah. I'd lick your ear while you were trying to go to sleep. When you asked who was there, I'd just say, "Shh, just let it happen, Dave." Failing that, when you shower, I'd put shampoo on your hair, even after you rinse. Oh. Kevin, I would interrupt every spirit box, EMF, and audio session you ever conduct with this message being said extremely clear and loud. "Hello, this is Houdini. If you are Scott Davis, then this is proof of an afterlife." Secret, I'd put a small piece of chocolate between your butt cheeks as you slept and watch your reaction in the morning. Ew! Oh, come on! Annalisa, I'd hum the Jaws movie theme all around you. Oh, you evil, evil lass. Francesca, I'd put water in your shoes every day. Kevin, I'd tie up your hair like Pippi Longstocking. Michelle, I would have finger puppets dressed up as ghosts and put on a skit. Samantha gets the final one. The ultimate way to haunt Dave? Write with his beloved pens, each and every single one. I know he loves sharing his pens. No, he doesn't. And then leave him fan letters all the time. Leave my pens alone. Thank you for everybody taking in the thought of the Dave today, and for Captain Shirk for bringing out some very, very good news on the SOR Newswire, which can be found on our website, spacedoutradio.co. We also want to give a big shout-out to author Rob Gutro for coming on, talking about his book, Kindred Spirits, which can be found at Amazon.com, so make sure you check that out as well. Rob's a great guy. Love for you to go and support him by getting his book. We got Mr. Ron Bumblefoot THAL rocking in the background with Little Brother Is Watching. Bumblefoot is the official music of Spaced Out Radio, rocking us in and out of every single show. Get your horns up for the guitar god himself. Special thanks to everybody listening in at home, at work, in your cars, wherever you may be. Shout out to everybody in the chat rooms this week on Spreaker, the SOR Space Travelers Club on Facebook, Revolution Radio, and everybody on Twitter at hashtag Spaced Out Radio. Thank you so much for joining us. What a lot of fun we had. We're going to do it again. All my Canadian listeners, happy Thanksgiving weekend. Remember, this show is copyright by Spaced Out Radio and SOR Media Ventures Limited. Thank you so much for hanging out with us, because together, my friends, we own the night. Mr. Bumblefoot, we need a favor. We need you to take us home. Have a great weekend, everybody. Rich Giordano, Saturday night. Everett Themer, Sunday night. I'll be back on holiday Monday up here in Canada. Have a great weekend. Da-da-da-da. Hey, 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 da-da-da-da. Hey, 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 da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da.